baseball on a Saturday night in Miami. Crowd coming in as the Miami Marlins take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers trying to run down the Giants in the West. The Marlins just trying to get it together right now. They've fallen a season low, 11 under. Nice and dry inside. A lot of rain, lightning, and thunder about an hour ago here in downtown Miami. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton. We're joined by Cliff Floyd tonight. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thanks
for having me.
We get a chance to see one of the really talented young players in baseball, Matt Kemp for the Dodgers. Your thoughts on him? You've obviously seen him come up. He's having a terrific year this year after a breakout season last year.
Yeah, very simple. He's a stud. Enjoy watching him. Does so many different things for your ball club. He's hitting every game this year but 10. He's been hurt a little bit. Of course, he's missed about 40-plus games. But when he's on the field, he changes the dynamic for the team. Don Malley doesn't have to police the locker room or the dugout because he takes care of that. And I think that's the reason Ned Colletti went out and got a guy like Hanley Ramirez, because Matt Kemp makes sure that he's going to get everything out of every player in that dugout.
And therein lies the difference between these two ball clubs, Tommy. You've got the Dodgers, who obviously in contention with the Giants went out and supplemented, while the Marlins fell out of the race in the East, and they had to sell some parts. Justin Ruggiano, a guy that's left over, he's done everything asked of him over the last 2.5 months.
Rich, I'm not sure if Ruggiano has gotten to that stud category yet. But I'll tell you what, at 30 years old, he is really proving himself at this level. He was a 25th round draft pick of the Dodgers, believe it or not, before he was traded on to the Tampa Bay Rays. He spent 8 years in the minor leagues. All that time getting all those at-bats at AAA helped him learn how to adjust, and that's certainly what he's done here, and that's why he's hit over 350 during his time as a Marlin.
All right, those are a couple of the bats that you're going to see tonight, the starting pitchers tonight. It's a matchup that Marlin fans have seen before, but not in these uniforms. Ricky Nolasco grew up going to Dodger games. He was in the stands for Kevin Gross's no-hitter. Sir Pizza brings you the pitching matchup. The guy on the other side, the Marlins are used to seeing in red, as in Philly red. Joe Blanton makes start number 2 as a Dodger. Blanton, a 7-4 mark in his career against the Fish. And that is your Sir Pizza pitching matchup. Ready to go? Game number 2. Ricky takes the hill, and Miami looks to even the series against the Dodgers. Marlins baseball coming up from Miami next.
And the Marlins all ready for Game 2 of the series here inside Marlins Park with Jeff Cohn. I'm Greg Minervini. Well, the Marlins have a new leadoff hitter tonight, a guy they would like to get a look at. He picked up in the Pirates deal. That's Gorky Hernandez.
Yeah, as a 24-year-old center fielder that was traded with that Gabby Sanchez deal from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah, I watched him take infield the other night. He's got a tremendous arm. He's got great range, good speed. You see him beating out. Actually, John Buck helped him get his hit last night, an infield variety. But great speed. And you see what he did here on this ground ball to shortstop. Hanley Ramirez, a pretty routine play. Ends up beating it pretty easily coming out of second base. So Don Mattingly came out and argued that play, but I'm sure after he saw that replay, he was like, wow, that was a waste of time.
He got a great jump. He's had a couple hits now with the Marlins. Trying to put the ball in play, bunt a little bit, use his speed and be a factor. Defensively, he's already there. He can really run it down, they say, with that great speed. And he'll use it here in this big ballpark. Jose Reyes, you know, he did not play in the game last night because of what happened in Washington. He's going to have to deal with this, Ozzie thinks, for the rest of the season. It happened against the Nationals here. It was going into second base.
Yeah, you know what? This is what happens when you got that head first slides going into bags. You're going to, every once in a while, you're going to catch a thumb, and it's going to really bother your wrist. And this is what happens right here to his right wrist. So last night they decided to keep him out of the game totally. He did not take BP, did not pinch hit late in the game, although he had an opportunity that he would have been a good pinch hitter at that point. But they don't need to have this a lingering, ongoing problem.
Well, they say it affects him more from the right-hand side than the left side. And Ozzie Guillen, when I asked him why he didn't pinch hit him last night, he said, hey, we didn't want to use him at all last night. Took no BP, didn't do any baseball activity, give him a complete day off. Of course he would have liked to use him, and then get him back in there today batting lefty against the righty Bland. All right, we're all set. We hope you are too. For Game 2 of the series, Don and I will see you on Marlins Live postgame. Enjoy it, everybody. Dodgers and the Fish.
Is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on an amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Papa John's. Right now at Papa John's, get any large pizza, even specialties, for only $12. There you go. Dodgers, Marlins Park in Miami. As we get ready to go in Game 2, last night the Dodgers 5-2 winners. Clayton Kershaw beating Mark Burley. Tonight, Ricky Nolasco tries to get his first win against the team he grew up rooting for, the Dodgers. And Nolasco has not pitched well of late. He gets Victorino, Mark Ellis, and Matt Kemp to open up the ball game. As usual, Pinch a Penny brings you the first pitch. And Nolasco deals a fastball that's rolled out to second. That's Nick Green out there. And he throws to first. You know what? We were given Nick Green. That's not Nick Green out there. That's Donovan Solano.
Yeah.
Late breaking news. Donovan Solano is at second base. All right, here's the Dodger lineup. And we'll check this on while we're on the way as well. Shane Victorino, Mark Ellis, Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, Hanley Ramirez down in the 5 spot. James Loney, Jerry Hairston, A.J. Ellis, and Joe Blanton hits 9th. So Nolasco throws one pitch. He gets Victorino. Ellis takes a fastball for a strike.
Rich, always with Ricky Nolasco, we keep our eye on the velocity of the fastball. If he stays in that 90 to 92 range, snaps off a few good breaking balls, he's going to do okay. But lately he's had struggles. He's had a bad inning that's gotten him in jams at times. And he'd love to beat the Dodgers for the first time.
That would be nice. But I think the big thing with him is just throwing strikes, Tommy, and staying away from walking guys. It's been his nemesis. It's just walking guys and not being able to get the outs when you need them after you do that.
All right, we know Ruggiano's in left. There is Nick Green. He's at third base. So Greg Dobbs is the scratch from Miami's lineup. So Green is at third. Solano is at second.
And we'll have to see if Ozzie pulled the lineup switch straight up. If he did, that puts Solano behind Giancarlo Stanton.
There's Dobbs on the bench.
Instead of Dobbs hitting behind Stanton.
Which is a big change.
Yeah, that's a big change.
And the lineup up on the scoreboard does have Solano straight up. Kemp just keeps hitting line drives in this series. That's his third hit. He had 2 last night. He rips a single to left. And the Dodgers have a runner on, and here comes Andre Ethier. This is the part of the lineup that did a lot of damage last night against Mark Burley and the Marlins bullpen.
And we talked about this before the game started. You have different options now that you added Hanley Ramirez to this lineup, and the fact that when you have a righty, pitching, Kemp goes in there, you have protection with him, with Ethier hitting behind him, and then you have Hanley. So they all have protection to know that they're going to get quality pitches.
But Don Mattingly's lineup has a nice symmetry to it now. He's got a speed guy at the top in Victorino, a contact guy in the 2 spot. Then, as you pointed out, against a right-hander, he goes right, left, with Loney sliding down into the 6 spot.
And you always just want guys that's going to give you quality at bats throughout the game and sort of wear down that pitcher. Once you're wearing down the pitcher, it just adds to what you want to do as a manager in terms of, pinch hitters late in the game. And I think in the second year for Don Mattingly, the game is slowing down for him, and he's allowing himself to not worry about his hitters. He can worry about his pitches. He can worry about Joe Blanton and when he should take him out and how to utilize the bullpen. And those things help you, of course, when you have quality guys that you don't have to worry about, the professionals.
Yeah, Mattingly even talked about it the other day about the way he's learning how to handle his pitchers as well. A number of pitches, how they react. Guy may first 3 innings hold hitters to a 240 average. The next 3 innings might go up. So he's learning all those numbers.
Some say he did a job last year worthy of Manager of the Year status, because the Dodgers were a mess both on and off the field, and Mattingly, in getting his feet wet as a rookie manager, had to handle an awful lot last year.
It's a tough game. I mean, it is a tough game to manage in the National League with so many different changes throughout, double switches, pinch hitters. It's just a lot to maneuver, and I think he's done a great job of just making sure that he's on point, and it's a learning process.
Breaking ball and a strike to Ethier. Now, Ethier very quietly is putting up another solid year, the 29 doubles. Quietly, I say that because Kemp seems to get a lot of the headlines in Los Angeles. But Ethier is a double away from 30, and that puts him in select company in Dodger history. It would be his 6th 30-double season. And the only other Dodgers to have that, Steve Garvey, Jackie Robinson, Zach Wheat, Dixie Walker.
That's a pretty good list.
Wow.
Seems like Ethier every year or two has gotten a little bit better hitting left-handers. His career average against right-handers is over 300.
Drops that one into right center field. Stanton picks it up. Kemp will stop at second. And again, this is the part of the order that Miami had issues with last night. Kemp, Ethier, and you hear the warm reception for Hanley Ramirez. Hanley had 3 hits last night.
Maybe they should cheer him. Maybe that'll help.
And in contrast to that, last night, Rich, 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters for the Marlins were 0 for 14. Yeah, try a little reverse psychology.
You know what I mean? You know, I was at the game last night, and I was down in the Cleveland area checking it out. Fans felt like, you know, he was going to hurt the Marlins. They just feel like, you know, when guys leave, they see the hustle. They see a different player in Hanley, and I've seen a different player when I've watched him, not just in this series, but before this.
Ground ball, nice stop by Green, who gets the out. No, safe. Runner was off. The second baseman was off the bag. Everybody is safe. Green's throw took Solano off the bag, and then he realized he might have a shot at Hanley at first, and that was late. And so everybody is safe.
Well, number one is a great play by Nick Green to flag this ball down. It took a nasty hop right there. He flags it, but then his throw is high. Sure if Solano did come off, and then because Hanley put it in coast mode going up the line, he thought there was the out at second base.
Yeah, he was off the bag.
He was
right
off
there.
the bag.
Yeah.
Solano then thought he might have a play at first.
There's an error up on the board, and I would assume that that's an error on Nick Green. Regardless, Nolasco, with the bags loaded, has James Loney in a fastball right down the middle for a strike. It's 0-1.
Just like that after 2 quick outs.
That's been his MO. You know, not being able to get out of innings after a quick start. You know, you get that first pitch out, you feel good about it, and then all of a sudden, you know, you get yourself in a mess.
1 pitch is popped up foul and out of play. Loney came into the ball game last night. Man was 0 for 1.
Well, Ricky has done what he needed to do in this situation, putting himself in this mess, so to speak. He's gotten ahead 0-2. So that's exactly what you want to do to a guy like Loney. Get ahead and make him swing at something that's your pitch.
Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball misses down low. For Ricky, he's been on a down run, but that came after maybe his best streak of the season. His 3 starts leading into the All-Star break, he was 2-1 with an ERA of 0.92. One-two pitch. Loney fouls it off, but the last 5 starts, an ERA of over 7, 0-5, and opponents are hitting at .325 against him.
Yeah, he got off to that great start. First 6 starts, he was 4-0. He was in quest of becoming the Marlins' all-time winningest pitcher. He reached that plateau. Then he became the leader in innings pitched all-time for the Marlins.
When you look at the last 5 starts, he's walked a few guys his last 2. But before that, he gave when he won a game, I think it was against the Braves, he gave up 9 hits, but he was able to get out of jams in those situations.
Just like he's able to get out of this one with Gorkys Hernandez under it and making the catch. Dodgers leave him loaded. Blanton's patchwork lineup looks this way. Gorkys Hernandez getting a start and leading off. Justin Ruggiano hits second. Jose Reyes back in the lineup at short with that sore hand. Carlos Lee at first. Giancarlo Stanton is in right. There's the change with Greg Dobbs taken out of the lineup. He's on the bench. We'll try to get word as to why there was a change. Donovan Solano's at second. Nick Green at third. John Buck hitting eighth. Ricky Nolasco hits ninth.
Well, we'll lay it out right here. If you're Joe Blanton, would you rather pitch to Giancarlo Stanton or Donovan Solano when push comes to shove in a situation with men on base? We'll have to keep our eye on that as the game goes on.
Yeah.
Craig, you have more on Greg Dobbs.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. They just told us a tight left oblique prior to the game is why Dobbs was scratched. Tight left oblique. Day-to-day situation.
Well, that certainly puts him in question as far as a pinch hitter later on tonight.
Especially coming off the bench late, 8th inning, unless he gets really loose.
Hernandez a one-hopper. Ramirez throws it in the dirt, and he's helped out by James Loney. He's very good around the bag, and he scoots that ball. Dodgers defensively, Mr. Hutton.
All right, we'll take a look at it. Brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida, with Victorino, Kemp, and Ethier. Very good outfield. Harrison and Hanley Ramirez on the left side. Mark Ellis steady up the middle. James Loney, you saw him pick Hanley's low throw. And A.J. Ellis behind the plate.
Ruggiano now against Blanton, who likes to work quickly and likes to throw strikes. And he misses down low. Joe Blanton, longtime Philly. Of course, he was in Oakland's rotation before the Phillies. Start number 22 this season. Ruggiano turning on a fastball, pops it foul, and out of play. And Cliff Floyd, he's a guy that you can feel comfortable against and get your hacks in because he's going to be around the plate.
He's not going to walk many guys. We talked about in pregame about, having 3 walks twice all season long. So he's going to be around the dish. I want to see the Marlins come out and swing the bats, consistently, swing them early, swing them all night. Just keep swinging. Get back to that one game against the Mets where you felt the talent's there as you watch these guys. Once you get you get a few hits here and there, it becomes contagious.
He went, and Ruggiano couldn't hold back, and instead of 3-1, it's 2-2. Blanton is always among the league leaders in a very obscure stat, and that's called strike threes. That's a swinging strike 3. Ruggiano swings and misses. Here comes Reyes. Here comes the scouting report brought to you by Coventry Healthcare.
Well, he changes speeds. He's deceptive. Short arms it. That's why you see a lot of called third strikes. And he does have 7 career wins against the Marlins. 8 wins this year for Blanton when he was with Philadelphia. Halladay and Cliff Lee combined have 8 wins.
Go figure.
Reyes goes after the first pitch. Kemp went back, now comes in and makes a running catch. And Nolasco is right back out there. H.H. Gregg. If you're just getting settled in, so are we. Top of the second, Coventry Healthcare second. Miami and Los Angeles are scoreless. And the Dodgers have Jerry Hairston Jr. coming up. The Dodgers trying to keep pace with the red-hot Giants, who just keep winning. They've won again today. And a fastball for a strike.
Cliff, somewhere along the line, you had to hook up with one of the Hairstons, Scott or Jerry.
Scott. I was with Scott in 2009, San Diego.
Both solid players.
Solid players.
Everybody in baseball has played with a Hairston. That one dumped into left field. And the Marlins better make sure Hairston doesn't take a big turn. He's a hustling ball player, ends up with a single. And A.J. Ellis is coming up.
All right, let's check in on the Marlins defensively, brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. No, the Cleveland Clinic of Florida. How about that? Ruggiano. Gorky Hernandez, great speed in center field. Giancarlo in right. A little late change in the infield. Nick Green at third. Reyes and Solano up the middle. Carlos Lee at first and John Buck behind the plate.
A strike from Ricky. A.J. Ellis, who has turned into the Greek god of walks. He's the next Euclid. His on-base percentage is up near 400. He's just having a year that has come out of nowhere, that everybody in the Dodger organization certainly tickled because they like this guy so much. He's been in the organization as a catcher for a while, and this is the year where he has blossomed at the age of 31. He played in just 31 games last year.
It was something that he always did in the minor leagues. His career on-base percentage in the minor leagues is .406. Surprised Billy Beane hasn't traded for him.
Solano's out there in shallow right, and he makes the catch. So an out here in the second, and now Nolasco gets Joe Blanton. We'll see if Blanton is bunting, trying to move Hairston up with Victorino on deck. San Francisco has won today, 9-3. They beat the Rockies.
Another Buster Posey home run.
Bruce Bochy just gets the most out of his players, man. He's the best at doing that. You're right, Rich. Bland bunts him over.
There you go. And so Victorino comes up. That's the benefit of having a guy like Victorino who can drive in runs as well in the leadoff spot.
And you need him up there. He's a switch hitter. He's going to put the ball in play. He stands right on top of the dish, gives you a quality bat. I like the quality of bats he gives you. I thought it was a huge pickup for them. They needed some table setters in front of the big boys in the meat of the order.
It's one of the things the Atlanta Braves have going for them is their leadoff hitter, Michael Bourne, has been able to drive in runs this year.
Well, I had a couple of young guys. D. Gordon's on the disabled list. He can fly, but not the veteran hitter that Victorino is. Even for a while, Tony Gwynn Jr. had an opportunity up there.
So with the Giants lost late last night and then winning this afternoon, the Giants have played twice since the Dodgers won the ball game last night and are actually up by half a game in the West. So the Dodgers need to win to keep pace. Tico, the People's Gas, brings you the National League West standings. Yeah, Colorado a 3-0 win last night, but today too much. Matt Cain, and as Time pointed out, Buster Posey with a nice day. 9-3 was the final today. Giants over the Rockies.
Matt Cain getting a little offensive support.
1-1 pitch. Looked like he went, but Chris Conroy down at third said no. Counts 2-1. Let's take a peek. That was close. Looked like he held up and then he almost committed.
That's one as a hitter you don't want to call. If you're a pitcher, you want to call.
Exactly, and exactly from a pitcher standpoint, Most times that umpire will give it to the pitcher because you saw the hands break as opposed to barrel of the bat.
You know, Tommy and I have a theory, and we'll bounce it off of you right now. Almost every advance in baseball up until about 2 years ago favored the hitter. Different bat style, new ballparks, that smaller fences, scientific breakthroughs that are not legal. But it seems as though in the last 2 or 3 years, that's one of the things they've given back to the pitchers, and that's the check swing. And anything close is called a swing now.
Yes, it is. And, you know, you see more and more times hitters are a little ticked off because they feel that most umpires, home plate umpires, take it upon themselves to call it as opposed to getting help. And I think that's the one thing that aggravates more hitters is they don't take it. You know, they take this upon themselves as opposed to taking it out their hands and letting the guy at third base or first base make that call for you.
Full count. Hairston's at second. Nolasco left him loaded in the first. And Ricky's 3-2. Victorino knows Nolasco enough to know that you can't give up on a pitch on the outside part because in all likelihood it's spinning back towards the plate.
36 career at bats against Ricky Nolasco. Six for 36. So he hasn't torn him apart, but he's seen him a lot.
But this is what he does. When we talked about that quality of bat, he's just a pesky little gnat. You know, he'll swing at pitches out the zone, in the zone, and then, you know, he just gives you that, 5, 6, 7 pitch at bat every time.
And he ends up walking. It's the first walk issued by Nolasco.
You know what's kind of interesting, Rich? Here we are with the Dodgers in town. And Victorino was originally drafted by the Los Angeles Dodgers, as was Justin Ruggiano.
And Victorino was Rule 5'd a couple of times, the Padres, and then the Phillies taking him in Rule 5 drafts. That's how he went from Los Angeles to Philly.
And when you saw Victorino in Philly, great ballpark for him at Citizen Banks Park, but he watched Jimmy Rollins at shortstop, and J-Roll stays right on the dish, stands right on top of the dish. He put that into his game, and I think it changed who he was. He's a switch hitter. He stands right on top of the dish, and it just added to his game. Home runs came, balls in the gap. It gave him more confidence, I think.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's fouled off. Well, both guys around him in that Philly lineup stand right on top of the plate. Very few players crowd the plate more than Chase Utley.
I haven't seen none to do more than Chase Utley. It's something that I think a lot of guys are getting, sort of more acquainted with. Me personally, I crowd the dish. I was a pull guy, and if you're a pull guy, you go at your strengths. And I think that's what these guys try to do is why stand off the dish if you're not a guy that's going to, that's a pull guy.
0-2 coming. And Mark Ellis fouls it at the plate. Mark Ellis 0 for 3 last night.
I learned that one from Darren Fletcher back in the day with the Montreal Expos.
Catcher, left-handed hitting catcher.
He said, you know what? He used to call me Sleep. Hey, Sleep. Why you stand so far off the plate? And I just said, hey man, listen, I just feel like I'm gonna get jammed. I don't want to get jammed. He says, listen, you're a pull guy. Get the ball you want and hit it to the right field. I know off top I hit probably 5 home runs opposite field. I should know that stat.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. You should know where Darren Fletcher is these days and make sure you send him a Christmas card.
So Darren Fletcher then gave you the nickname.
Yeah, well, it started with Mike Waddy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mike Waddy did it, and then, we was in camp, and I guess I used to yawn or whatever, and, they were talking to me. I was a young guy, I was tired, 7 o'clock in the morning, I wasn't used to.
Well, Sleepy Floyd could play in the day.
I took that nickname.
Here's the 1-2. Down the right field line, and it's going to be foul. And the count is 1-2. Cliff Floyd joins us tonight. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini, AJ Speaks, our producer, Jim Holly, our director tonight, Ken Lee, our graphics coordinator, Ricky Nolasco, the starting pitcher for the Fish. And Ricky, 34 pitches into this ball game. I forgot Jeff Conine. My bad, Niner.
I'm glad I didn't say that.
Ellis fighting pitch after pitch off. Another breaking ball and another foul ball.
Well, this is the kind of hitter that Mark Ellis is. So think of the at-bats. The couple of veteran guys, Victorino and Ellis, have put together against Ricky Nolasco. They really made him work.
I think that's all the difference. And when you look at, Ricky going deep into games, and on the flip side, Joe Bladden puts the ball in play a lot more, and he's able to go deeper in games, as we've seen with him a couple times this season. And lately, 8 innings, 7 innings has been his forte. So.
Well, that hits Ellis, and that's not what Ricky Nolasco wanted to do, because it loads the bases for Matt Kemp.
So 2 innings in a row now. The Dodgers have had the bases loaded.
There's your Fox tracks. And a lot of those pitches on the left side of that spray chart were pitches that Ellis fouled off into the seats.
And trust me, Ricky didn't want to hit Mark Ellis to get to Matt Kemp.
I would say no.
Of course, Kemp's year last year was just enormous. It was one of the best in, this is a metric that is used, wins above replacement. He was 10 wins into the Dodgers win column. Here's the pitch to Kemp. You measure the player from an average player, and you go up or down from there. And Kemp, in the Dodger lineup, was worth 10 wins just by all that he did last year.
Not to mention offense, defense, his speed.
Plays both sides of the ball. That in itself is an added quality.
Won his second Gold Glove last year. Up and in. He had the second best OPS last year. Ryan Braun had the best.
Keeps the game simple. Keeps it, he stays in his lane. Doesn't try to do too much. Hits the ball to the big part of the ballpark. You have to be strong to do that consistently, and he does that. He doesn't pull a lot of balls unless you come inside, and he just drops his hands down. You saw the ball he hit last night down the left field line. Those are things that you can't teach. He's taught himself to do those things, and you see him getting better each year, and that's the one thing you like. He's not regressing at all.
Boy, Ricky really struggling right now. And you're right, Cliff, about Kemp. A lot of his home runs are to right center.
And when he stays there, he stays through the ball that way. He sees the ball long. As with the first pitch we saw, the second pitch from Nolasco, he was late picking up that ball because he stays in there so long just to give himself that extra second to see it.
Think he's got the green light here?
Better believe it.
Bags loaded. 3-0 pitch coming. And Nolasco's fastball is a strike at the knees. Kemp started to walk. And it's 3-1. Well, pitch number 4 right at the knees on Papa John's Fox tracks. 24 pitches this inning so far for Nolasco. Does he throw him another fastball?
I say come back with the slider.
Now you got the fastball.
Yeah.
And Ricky at 92 miles an hour humped it up. That's where he's topped out.
That's good fastball, yeah.
So a big pitch coming here, obviously. A scoreless ball game, 2 outs. Top of the second. Nolasco laboring, but has not given up a run. Kemp, one of the very good run producers in the game, awaits a 3-2 pitch. Bags loaded. Got him! Breaking ball. Nolasco strikes out Matt Kemp.
Oh, the pitch late, Rich.
That's right. But it worked.
Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
Well, the Dodgers have left 6 on base already. Miami has seen just 9 pitches from Joe Blanton. And Carlos Lee, Giancarlo Stanton, and Donovan Solano dig in. Blanton throws a strike at the knees. And it's 0-1. Lee last night 0 for 3 with a sacrifice fly. And Blanton, as we pointed out, has pitched well against Miami over the course of time. This year, though, he's just 1-2 against the Fish.
Yeah, 5 good years with Oakland, 5 years with the Phillies.
See, Lee has good numbers against him.
Yeah, he does.
You know, I didn't like facing him. When you look at his keys, he is deceptive. And, you know, I talked about Chris Young the other day, you know, throwing an invisible ball.
That went into center field, and it drifts over to right, and so Ethier comes to get it.
Kind of felt like Bland threw an invisible. You know, he throw that fastball and be 88, and you go, you know, how the heck did I miss that?
You think it was 95.
You think it was 95, and you go back and you slam your helmet, and you're comfortable for 4 against Joe Bland. It's that comfortable for 4. Where you have good swings and you have nothing to show for it.
I guess the big question when we found out that Greg Dobbs was scratched for an oblique was, would this man get any pitches to hit? And Bland's first pitch would indicate no, a breaking ball that misses by a foot outside. Bland can be cautious with Stanton. No slight to Donovan Solano, who's on deck, and he flips up another breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I think this is a real key for next year. When you start thinking about the lineup next year, you really want to make sure you have somebody behind Stanton in the lineup. Somebody who can protect him. Somebody with some pop. Somebody who can drive in runs.
And I think the key will be Logan Morrison and how he comes back from his surgery and how strong he is. And I think he will be the key component behind, you know, Stanton. Along with, you know, if Ruggiano is doing what he's done this year, you know, you can have sort of the same thing that Don Mattingly has, where you can switch up guys against certain matchups. You know, Lomo, until he proves, like Andre Ethier has proven, that he can hit lefties on a consistent basis, which he's done, you know, pretty decent. He has to continuously do that.
His scorch to left field. And
somebody
foul.
tries to catch that.
No.
You know, it amazes me. Fans, you know, stick their hand up and then you know they wonder why their hand is broken. They end up in the ER. You know, unless you have a glove on.
Stanton drives that ball to right center field. That's in the gap, and it's going to get to the wall around first, and he pulls in at second. Now it's a real interesting dynamic because Joe Blanton just doesn't walk people. He's walked only 21 all year, and this is his 22nd start. And yet, you look at the way the lineup unfolds, and you don't want to give Stan a pitch just like this.
Well, trust me, if there are men on base, Stanton's not going to see that pitch. But with nobody on base, he threw him a changeup before. The ball he roped into the seats was a changeup, and he tried to sneak that fastball by him. And we see Stanton hit balls like that all the time in batting practice.
Yeah, it's fun to watch him in BP. It's fun to watch him in the games. And, you know, Blanton flat out missed his spot right there. And you know, if he's going to miss his spot with 85, I mean, the 88, Stanton will make you pay every time.
Now, Ozzie Guillen is like some managers in baseball. When there's a late scratch, rather than disrupt the whole lineup, he just puts the new guy in place of the guy that came out of the lineup. And so Solano finds himself hitting 6th.
Well, you know, Jim Leland did that.
Yeah, he did. I was just going to say, he used to. I remember, I swear I remember, I forget who it was, had to come out of the game, was hitting cleanup, and he put Cangelosi in.
It didn't matter. I mean, if I played for Devon White in center field, guess what? I played center field and hit leadoff. Sheffield, I hit 4th. It did not matter with Jim Leland.
That's who I think it was. I think Sheffield came out of the lineup late. He just put Cangelosi hitting cleanup.
See, and now Bland can't throw a strike to Donovan Solano.
Broadcasters appreciate what Leland and Ozzie do with the lineup.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you know, it drives us fits, and you know, it gives us headaches down there as players. You really haven't been in that position before. You know, you see Cangelosi hitting 4th, you're going, this is a joke. But you know.
Let's see what the 3-1 brings to Solano. Fastball, and he pops it out into right center. Kemp is there, makes the catch. Stanton tagging. Kemp's got a great arm, and Stanton can run, and that's a great sign for a guy that just had knee surgery about 3 weeks ago.
Well, it's a great sign to be 22 years old, and I think that's the key. He's young, and you know he was chomping at the bit to get back on the field, and I think he's done a great job of doing everything necessary to get back and not putting himself in jeopardy of going backwards.
So Stan's 90 feet away, and here is Nick Green, who gets the start at third base. Oh, and 1. Cliff, in your career against Joe Blanton, our crack staff has unearthed 0 for 6.
See what I mean?
1 strikeout.
Invisible. Telling you.
Invisible.
There it is.
Green, a couple of hits since joining the Marlins. One of those a double.
One good thing about Joe Blanton is he's so around the plate that those balls that fall off his changeup. I mean, from a hitter's perspective, you see that ball around the dish, it looks like his fastball, and that's why you get more swing and misses with him because he's so much around the plate.
1-2 coming. He was around the plate there, and Green swings and misses. Stanton is left at third, scoreless. Monday night, Miami and the Phillies, and our Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction presented by the Clevelander and Tommy Bahama. Join us for dinner. Go to marlins.com/fantasy auction. Tickets $150 for a single, $275 for a couple. You get to see the ball game, so you get a game ticket. Open bar at the Clevelander. That's all I got to say. Open bar at the Clevelander. Cliff's been to the Clevelander.
Yeah.
And how nice is an open bar?
Can't beat it. I tell you that, it is amazing.
All you can eat buffet. There's a phone number too if you don't want to order your tickets online. 305-480-2550. 305-480-2550. If you go online to marlins.com/fantasy auction, they've got all the big board items listed, and the surfboard, which is the smaller board, includes the Cliff Floyd Man Cave Experience.
Like that. Come check out the digs, hang out a little bit.
Now I gotta go back and check what all that entails, but it's a party at Cliff Floyd's house to watch a postseason game, or if you want an NFL Sunday, Cliff You and Preston are usually hunkered down on a Sunday, aren't
yeah.
you?
We chilling, having a good time, and I would prefer NFL Sunday. You know, get all the games in. I'm actually changing a few of the TVs, so it'll be fun.
So it's a watch party for 10 at Cliff Floyd's place. So if you've got 9 friends, get together and get ready to bid on Monday night. And you can bid
That's
on.
a great. I mean, how often do you get a chance to do that? That's outstanding.
You and nine friends can go to Cliff Floyd's house, and it is a catered affair.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be hooked up.
Here's the 1-2. And a bouncer out towards short that Reyes has. Ethier busting it up the line. And Reyes gets him out. Now, how many screens? What's the man cave have right now?
Well, right now it's sitting with we're sitting with 5 total. So you know we can get 5 good games in, and then if you need a little fresh air, you got a TV outside. You go outside, hang out a little bit. You know.
Well, it's very generous of you to open the man cave up for the charity auction, and we look forward to that on Monday night.
It'll be fun. Fine with me. I'm looking forward to it myself.
Here's Hanley Ramirez. And a breaking ball to Hanley. Now Ramirez hit a hot smash that Nick Green snared at third, but his throw to second took Donovan Solano off the bag. And Hanley an offer as Green was given an error. That one right back up the box and right between the legs of Ricky Nolasco. You can see just in the 7 at bats from Hanley Ramirez in this series, a concerted effort to shorten his swing and stay middle.
That's because it's a concerted effort on his part to focus on that, because it's something he's been told for years. That's what he has to do. Stay a little shorter with that swing, and he's been that way these first 2 games.
There's no sense of being big. You know, it doesn't help you to be big and fouling off and missing your pitches continuously. And that's been the difference in Hanley Ramirez. Is he's putting balls in play that he should put in play, and he's getting results. And all that does is just boost your confidence to another level.
Psychologically, doesn't that happen? And Hanley certainly is a threat to run here with the left-handed bat up. He might be running on the first pitch. Ricky had him leaning and almost got him. Hanley has a tendency, when he takes his lead, when he gets into the sprinter stance, when he goes down with the hand out, 9 times out of 10 he's running.
And he also, because of past shoulder issues, doesn't dive back to first base. He goes back feet first.
Nolasco whips it over. Psychologically, guys, isn't it true for every sport? A guy like Hanley gets traded away and then comes back to face a team where it didn't end well. Generally has a pretty good performance against that team.
No question.
You do try a little bit harder, and sometimes it's a hit or miss. But the effort is there beyond. You want to show that you got rid of a good player. But we all knew the tools were there. We were wondering whether what the heck it was, or on a consistent basis. And I think you see a guy now that sees that he didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It was starting to get a little dim, and he's found himself a little bit. He's on a team with a bunch of guys. Matt Kemp, as I talked about in pregame, will get in his face. Certain guys will call him out, and I think that's the difference you'll see in Hanley moving forward.
I guarantee Victorino will get in his face. And sometimes a trade like this is a wake-up call for a player.
And I like that part of it, Tommy, when you talk about a wake-up call, because it'd be a shame to see a talented guy and an ex-player like myself watching talented guys. You enjoy that part. You enjoy watching these guys grow into future Hall of Fame type of players. I thought he had the tools to be that type of player.
I'll tell you, if Hanley is able to soak up anything from Davey Lopes, Lopes will refine his base stealing abilities, and we know that that's there.
And they have a great staff. When you talk about Manny Motors here, you talk about Tim Wallach, who's played the game. He's a third base coach. He's been a while forever. Don Malley, if you can't learn from him, you can't learn from nobody. And then, as you mentioned, Davey Lopes, he's done wonders for Matt Kemp's game. You see Matt Kemp in 2010, total different ball player from then and now.
So Hanley's still at first. The count's 2-2. And there's one out. Ricky Nolasco, 53 pitches. But the Dodgers haven't scored. They left the bases loaded in the first. They left them loaded in the second. Hanley not running, and a ground ball Solano's way. Out there, the turn by Reyes, out there. And I'm stunned that Hanley Ramirez didn't try to steal during that AB.
Baseball League in Pembroke Pines, and the chairman of that league is the first base umpire, Angel Hernandez. You can see these people behind me with the Thanks Angel shirts and the number 55. That's Angel Hernandez, not Josh Johnson, and they're here to salute him. And today, AJ, the umpire came out, Angel Hernandez, and was greeted by all these people, and it was very emotional. The league is for kids with disabilities, with walkers. Frank Marquez, the president. It's quite a league, and I know you have a special relationship with Angel Hernandez.
Yes, Angel has done phenomenal things for our program in the last couple of years, and what we're doing tonight is we're paying tribute to him and saying thanks, Angel, because what happens is a lot of the people see these guys in the big leagues and they recognize all these ball players, but the guys behind the plate and on the bases dressed in black and sometimes in blue, obviously we call them blue, they don't see the true hearts behind them because they don't see them off the field. And we wanted to say thanks to Angel tonight for doing just that. He has afforded so many kids equipment, uniforms, wheelchairs. I mean, he's got a golden heart.
I know Tommy's played in the golf tournament. I've had a chance to interview Angel and publicize it on Panther games as well in the offseason. The league is amazing. You've got about 60 kids in the league of all kinds of disabilities. They bat with a wheelchair. They're in walkers, some of them, and they get to enjoy baseball. And the city of Pembroke Pines has built a facility for you guys to play in.
That's correct. The city of Pembroke Pines went ahead and afforded us the opportunity to open this program to basically not only city residents, but they've opened it up to the Tri-County area and welcome anybody with a disability and a desire to play baseball.
And this is the man that Angel Hernandez calls Iron Man, because no matter what happens, you keep playing hard. Why is that? What do you love about baseball?
It's my favorite sport. I've been watching it ever since I was small. It's my favorite pastime, and I have a lot of fun playing it.
Angel makes the call there out. Do you have a favorite position you like to play?
Yeah, shortstop.
Okay. And you have a good batting average?
Yes.
Now, again, if there's people out there, maybe someone has a child with a disability, what are the age requirements? How can they find out more information? How can they contact you?
Basically, they can. Our league kicks off next Friday at 7 p.m. at Rose Price Park in Pembroke Pines, and they can go to our website, which is www.wppomiracle.com, and they can get all the information about it. Our program basically affords any kid that wants the opportunity to play baseball to come out there. We provide uniform, and just a great time and a great atmosphere.
Thanks a lot. I bet you Angel was really moved when he saw these shirts. He didn't expect thanks, Angel. Huh?
Oh, no, he got choked up, but you know what? He deserves this and much more. He's got a golden heart.
Well, you guys do a great job volunteering your time and for this league. Again, and it's the Miracle League in Pembroke Pines, open to all with disabilities, guys, and it's really a great program. The men in blue, sometimes they don't get the credit they deserve, but it's these parents, too, and volunteers that deserve a lot of credit, too. And, of course, the players. Back to you.
All right, Craig, good stuff from a good guy in Angel Hernandez, who's had 2 easy calls to make at first.
We didn't want to give him anything controversial during that nice story. Yeah, no. It's a great cause.
Yeah, it is. That is awesome. He's thrown me out a couple of ball games, so I can't say anything bad about him tonight. But that's awesome, Angel.
Here is Gorkys Hernandez. Gorkys Hernandez getting the start. He's in center. And Joe Blanton misses down low. 1-0. If you've just joined us, Hernandez getting the start in the leadoff spot. And Greg Dobbs was a late scratch because of a strained oblique. He's listed as day-to-day. Donovan Solano replaced him in the starting lineup. So the Marlin ranks thinned already with the trades of the last 3 weeks. All 3 balls Jerry Hairston's way, and he makes all 3 plays. Miami's done in the 3rd. On to the 4th, scoreless ball game. For Ricky Nolasco, it's been one of survival. He's survived bases loaded situations in both the 1st and the 2nd inning. He got a nice double play grounder to finish off the 3rd. Joe Blanton has been in control from the very start. He did give up that 1-out double to Giancarlo Stanton in the 2nd. And that's how we arrive scoreless with Jerry Hairston Jr., A.J. Ellis, and Joe Blanton standing in against Nolasco. Big curveball didn't come far enough for home plate umpire Mark Carlson, and it's 1-0. Third generation big leaguer is Jerry Hairston. His grandfather played in the big leagues briefly after playing in the Negro Leagues. And of course his father, Jerry Hairston, played 15 years in the big leagues.
This is a good pinch hitter, too.
And he hits that one high and deep to left field. Ruggiano is there, and he makes the catch.
Right about now, Jerry Hairston Jr. is thinking where that one would have been at Dodger Stadium.
Right.
Dodger Stadium's 330 down the line. It's got that little short fence in that pavilion area, and that would have been right in that little area.
And he owns, actually, Ricky Nolasco. I looked at the stats. 8 for 16, 3 RBIs, 500, I guess. I mean, got a hit in the first inning, so then average went up.
Yeah, now he's 9 for 18. Still hitting 500.
Here's A.J. Ellis now. And Ellis takes a fastball for a strike. We've been talking about the emergence of this 31-year-old guy that went to Austin Peay. Has a brother that pitched in the minor leagues for 5 years. As we told you, is leading baseball in number of pitches seen per at bat, which is a stat that really hasn't been prominent in baseball until the last 5-6 years.
Well, it's about giving yourself an opportunity to get into the bats as opposed to not, swinging before 2 strikes, being comfortable with hitting with 2 strikes. That's key to me in learning how to hit, especially for young hitters. In AJ's cases, he's not young anymore, but it's still always good to be able to have in your back pocket that, give yourself a quality bat, get into the bat so it allows you to have better at bats as you get into the game, your third, your fourth at bat.
Ball in the dirt.
Yeah, it's really a fine line, especially for minor leaguers, because you think the only way you're going to get to the big leagues is hit, and the only way you're going to hit is if you swing. And so it's hard to be patient in the minor leagues.
Ellis turns on that one and hits into that same corner. Ruggiano after it. He'll have to play it on a hop, and A.J. Ellis has a double. The Dodgers have had base runners in every inning tonight. And here comes Blanton. And in all likelihood, Blanton will try to push. Well, no, Blanton may just swing away and see if he can knock one into the outfield or squirt one through the infield.
Ricky got hurt in Washington when Strasburg got a big hit off of him.
Happened to him twice. Happened to him here and there.
Blanton a sacrifice bunt in the second. Not the best of hitters, but of course did homer in the World Series.
I've always wondered about that, Richard. And I mean, ever since I was playing, about why pitchers, because at some point pitchers hit in their career. At some point they were a star player, whether it's high school or whatever. And I know you put in a ton of work to become a major league pitcher in the minors and everything, but there's some hitters out there. When we look at a guy on our team, and Zambrano can flat out hit. I mean, you look at Tim Hudson with the Braves, he can hit. Some of these guys can hit, but I just wonder why so many pitchers cannot hit anymore. It becomes a lost art form.
I think one of the answers is because they don't do it in the minor leagues until they get over Double-A, and then that's only if it's a National League matchup in terms of affiliates.
So you have low A ball, you have rookie ball, low A ball, high A ball, and they're not hitting. So they don't start hitting until they get to Double-A.
And see, I've always felt that, especially from a National League standpoint, that it just adds when you don't have the luxury of having the DH. To have your guys hitting early on in the minor leagues. I know you have to prepare. I know there's a lot of things mechanical wise that you have to work on, but it just adds to your team when you have a pitcher who can go up there and give you a quality, not quality a bat, just a better bat than some do.
I always liked it. The different teams, some teams do it, some teams don't. When all the starters have a nice little competition, they throw a little something in the pot before the game, or before the season, and then maybe whoever has the most hits amongst the starting pitchers, and they have a little competition. It's fun.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. When I was in Tampa in 08, those guys had a black. See, they don't hit at all because of the designated hitter. But now with interleague play, of course, they hit more, and they love it. When it gets time, you see these guys taping up their bats and ordering batting gloves and all this stuff for a week of interleague play.
Velasco's fallen behind 3-1. And Blanton does dump one into center field. Hernandez has it. Ellis will stop at third base. And Joe Blanton has a base hit. But the Dodgers still don't have a run. And Velasco has to face Victorino with runners at the corners.
Well, that's a no-no right there. Number one, to fall behind 3-1 and to set that stage where Blanton knew what pitch he was going to get. Just giving up that base hit to a pitcher who came into that at bat 3 for 40.
That's been the problem with Nolasco, you know, since he's had his struggles of late, just not being able to get guys out that he should get out at the bottom of the orders.
Victorino's bounced to second, and he's walked. Change up for a strike, and it's 0-1. Now, Victorino, despite all of his at-bats against Nolasco in the Philly-Marlin matchups, 6 for 36. Ricky gets a couple strikes, and now he's out in front 0-2. That's a tough pitch to lay off. Good breaking ball and a good place to put it. Buck smothered it. It's 1-2. The Reds have won. Cincinnati winning today 4-2 against the Cubs in Chicago. The Pirates are down 3-0. Chase Headley's homered again. Victorino scorches that one foul. 3-0 San Diego in the top of the fifth. Pittsburgh open play. 3.5 behind the Reds. With the Reds win, it's a 4-game lead.
Chase Headley had 2 home runs and 5 RBIs last night in Pittsburgh.
Playing spoiler, Padres are, huh?
All of a sudden, the Padres get away from Petco and they score runs.
That is a big part.
Well, Ricky has thrown more pitches from the stretch than he would like to in this ball game. 9 of the first 18 hitters have reached base.
He's also over 70 pitches. Look at that, 72 pitches already.
Blanton's at first. A.J. Ellis at third. 1-2 to Victorino. Breaking ball might be 2. Solano, Reyes' turn. Safe. A bang-bang play at first, and Victorino beat it, and the Dodgers get a run out of it.
Only the speed of Victorino beat that out. Most other guys, that's a 4-6-3 double play. Got out of the box quickly. Ricky got the ground ball, the hard-won hopper. But he beat the throw.
So Victorino gets an RBI. He's a threat to run. It's 1-0 Los Angeles, and here is Mark Ellis.
You know, we were talking between innings, Rich and Cliff, about you play with fire long enough, sooner or later you're going to get burned.
Yeah.
And base hits, the pitcher getting a base hit, sending Ellis over to third, that set up that whole situation.
Victorino has swiped 27 bags and been caught just 4 times this year.
I would expect early on he's going to try to steal.
At some point, somebody's going to have to steal, right? I mean, they good base stealers, base runners.
Yeah, Handley 16 stolen bases this year. Victorino 27. Ellis pulls back on the bunt attempt. And it's 1-0. The Nationals have scored first in their ball game in Arizona. 1-0. The Braves, meanwhile, are clobbering the Mets 9-1. And that game is only in the 4th inning. And it's in New York.
That was the return of Johan Santana tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, I saw where in the Nationals game, Davey Johnson was giving the youngster Bryce Harper another day off. He's taking him out of the lineup 2 of the last 3 games. He's hitting about 170 since the All-Star break.
I think he's hit a wall a little bit. You see him taking some pitches. I saw him the other night against Houston. Angel Hernandez was behind the plate. You know, you can call whatever it was, you know, tough pitches, but you know he's been scuffling. So
Ruggiano runs it down. The Dodgers finally break through and get a run. Miami will try to answer. Get to Nissan for the biggest savings under the sun at Nissan Summer Saving Days. Visit ChooseNissan.com. By Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. And by 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy fixes tired fast. Shane Victorino, by beating out that fielder's choice, provides the Dodgers with a 1-0 lead. And Miami goes to work on Joe Blanton here in the bottom of the 4th. Blanton's been getting ahead with first pitch fastballs. And Ruggiano is behind in the count now, 0-2.
And that's the difference. You know, we talked about this in pregame. You know Blanton's going to be there. You want to come out and establish, you know, if he's going to establish a pattern, you establish your pattern. Then we're going to swing. Make him make the adjustments as opposed to you getting one strike, and then if you foul the ball off, now you're in the hole, as you just said.
Little tapper foul up the first baseline.
You know, we had that shot of Victorino moving around in left field. I was talking to him in the clubhouse before the game, because all the years with Philadelphia he was in center, and he said it's a little bit of an adjustment for him. You know, as you know, Cliff, balls hook out there, right-handers. You know, in center field, you got a much better shot at ball. So he said he's still making the adjustment.
It definitely is an adjustment, Tommy, because I saw 2 guys in New York. Let's get the pop up from Ruggiano.
Kemp is there, and he makes the catch.
And when you talk about guys moving around, I had 2 center fielders with the Mets. I had Carlos Beltran and I had Mike Cameron. 2 center fielders that, you know, and Cameron moved over to right field. We saw that nasty collision they had
in San
Diego. And it's because they both naturally are center fielders that call the ball and are always in control, always in charge. So that's something he's going to have to definitely get used to. Kemp is going to go after every ball, and Victorino, his whole life has been taught to go after every ball as a center fielder.
Said early in his career with the Phillies, he would come in as a defensive replacement for Pat Burrell. But then, of course, he worked his way into the starting lineup and was out there in center field every day. AT&T trivia time. As we flip the phone, oldest person to play in a game for the Los Angeles Dodgers. How old was Manny Mota when he hung him up?
Say, there were a few years, yeah, where Manny Mota was in his 40s. I know that, when he exclusively came off the bench as a pinch hitter. He literally is one of those guys. Manny Mota right now could come off the bench and swing the bat well. He's one of those guys they used to say you could go to his house in December and wake him up and he'd get out of bed and get a base hit.
And that's not easy.
And for a long time, before Lenny Harris went by him, for a long time, Manny Mota was the all-time pinch hits leader, but Lenny Harris blew by Manny.
Yeah.
Carlos Lee out to center. Matt Kemp patrolling out there. A 10-pitch inning for Joe Blanton, who's in cruise control right now with a 1-0 lead. On top of the Marlins. Let's answer that trivia question and flip the phone. Oldest person to play in a game for the Dodgers. Manny Mota is what we came up with.
We came up with, but not the correct answer. Hoyt Wilhelm. I think I've told the story before. In 71, that was 1972, that Wilhelm was with the Dodgers. In 71, the Dodgers signed him to come to AAA to work with Charlie Huff and teach him the knuckleball. And Tommy Lasorda was the manager in AAA in Spokane that year and used Charlie Huff all the time. And the best thing about having Hoyt Wilhelm around is that everybody wanted to play catch with him. Everybody wanted to try to handle that knuckleball.
Base hit into center field. Matt Kemp has another hit, a leadoff single. The Dodgers have a hit in every inning. They have a base runner in every inning, yet they have just one run tonight. And is it true as well that every ball player thinks they can throw a knuckleball?
Oh, yeah, everybody does. The amazing thing is that all of a sudden Wilhelm was throwing it so well they got him in games, and he started 5 or 6 games. Went up to the Dodgers a little that year, then in 72 started the season with him, and then ended up retiring.
Mine was awful. I tried to throw one that was just absolutely pathetic. Warming up.
Ethier now, he takes outside. Kemp has kind of curtailed his base stealing with the hamstring issues. He has swiped 4 bases this year. He was almost a 40-40 guy last year. He had 40 stolen bases and hit 39 homers. He's at first, Ethier at the plate, and he swings through a changeup The count is 1-1.
Smart move on the Dodgers' part. He's way more valuable in the lineup with his bat as opposed to, stealing bags. And of course, you want him to be in scoring position every time, and he can definitely do those things. But until he's, close to 100%, you have to back off.
I'll see if I guess right. I think were you with Vladimir Guerrero early in his career?
Yeah, a little bit in spring training.
Because he had some leg problems. I remember Felipe Alou wanted him to play under control a little bit better.
Especially on the turf. We had him up there in Olympic Stadium in Montreal. You definitely have to think that way. And I think, with Kemp and this lineup, he's definitely needed there.
He's running.
Stealing.
And he's safe.
I think a lot of that also when you saw him play yesterday, you saw him run out the ball down the double down the left field line. You saw him scoring a base hit to right. He is feeling better, and I guess the better he feels, the more leeway they'll give him. And he's his own doctor. He'll tell you, how he feels day in and day out. And I think Don Mattingly definitely trusts him and his judgment.
No question. When they get to the playoffs, they want him in the lineup.
Right.
Well, he's at second now. And Ethier, who's 1 for 2. Now, Nolasco has been wild a bit. He's not been sharp, but to his credit, he's been able to get out of most of the jams he's put himself in.
One of those crazy games. He's wild, but he's only walked 1. He just doesn't have command in the strike zone.
And from that 4-run game he gave up in D.C. his last start, he's been pretty good. After that one inning, he pitched pretty good after that, and sort of brought that until today's game. But he, like I said, when he gives up hits, he has to be able to make pitches to get him out of those jams if that's going to be the way he wants to pitch. He's not going to be able to, live like that through the course of the season, but he has to be able to get out of jams like that. And I guess it does help him in terms of having that confidence to make that pitch when he needs it the most.
John Buck calls timeout, and he's on his way out.
I think you saw Ricky making a motion there with some question as to what the count was.
Yeah, Ricky put 2 fingers up as if to ask, is it 2-2?
Is it 2-2? Not that he wanted to throw the split.
That would be a dead giveaway.
Here it comes. Andre, I'm throwing you the split. I believe the count is 2-2. Correct, or is it 3-2?
The scoreboard in the ballpark has 3-2. The Fox.
I think our crack staff has 3-2.
Fox Box has 3-2.
Bill Wadlick on Fox Box is never wrong on that count.
Ethier himself is talking to the Dodgers dugout.
Buck was talking to the home plate umpire, who normally will change that if he sees it up there as 3-2. And it's 2-2.
Off-speed pitch. Didn't matter if it was 2-2 or 3-2. He hammered it into center field. Hernandez picks it up. Kemp will score easily. And Ethier knocks in his 64th run of the season.
Well, you know what? Ricky Nolasco did throw that split change and didn't fool Ethier, who stayed back on it really well. Kind of floated up there with not a whole lot of bite.
Randy St. Clair's on his way out to talk to Nolasco.
We've talked about it, Rich. The I don't know if dilemma is the correct word, but the situation that Ozzie has had with his closer. Is he going to bring Heath Bell back with Cishek throwing well? I think there's another one that Ozzie's going to have to make a decision on. If Ricky's struggles continue, he's got Zambrano down in the bullpen, who's thrown well ever since he went to the bullpen. There he is right here. And you never know. I mean, Ozzie could make that decision and flip-flop Ricky and Zambrano.
The other variable there is Jacob Turner, who has thrown well in AAA, the starter Miami got from Detroit. And I by all accounts, when the Marlins bring him up, they want him to start games.
Oh, he's not going to go to the bullpen.
Sharp smash, nice play, Green. Solano's turn, a double play. It's almost the same ball that Hanley Ramirez hit back in the first that Green threw wildly to second on.
Well, the bottom line, Hanley's hit 3 balls really hard tonight. Hit two to third. The base hit, he hit well up the middle. But a nice play by the veteran Nick Green over at third.
2 runs on 8 hits for the Dodgers. Miami has just 1 hit, and they have not scored. And here is Loney, who's flied out and bounced into a double play. Loney is tied for the National League lead in grounding into double plays, which is why we were all scratching our heads as to why Hanley wasn't running when he was at the plate and 1 out, and Loney was out, or when Loney was at the plate and Hanley was at first base.
Yeah, the other problem for Ricky, unfortunately, the last game he pitched, he had trouble in the 1 inning. Cliff was talking about that. But his offense got him 1 run. And he lost the game 4-1. Offense tonight has gotten him no runs. So that makes a difference.
It definitely does.
That's a great point. Loney's bouncer. Solano backhands, double clutch, and safe at first. With a base hit is James Loney. If the Marlins score 5 or 6 runs and Ricky pitches like he pitches tonight and gives up 3 or 4 runs, then instead of struggling, he's battling, and he managed the game, and he was able to give his ball club enough innings to get a win.
Well, you can take positive out of that. You're right, and I think that's the one thing that you look at with Ricky is, you know, you're looking for positive signs as opposed to, you know, what's wrong with Ricky. You don't want to go down that road. You want to go down the road of, you know, what did he do right tonight? How was he effective? And I think when you look at this, well, you can take a positive that they have given up 9 hits, but they've only scored 2 runs. And I think, you know, he's keeping your team in the ball game. And that's pretty much all you can ask for from starting pitching is giving your team a chance to win. But the team, you know, the Marlins have to score some runs tonight. Anyway, you have to score a run to win. And the Marlins haven't done that tonight. And I think that's the reason that you see Ricky sometimes try to be a little bit too perfect because he doesn't have the run support. And he knows that he has to go out there and not give up more than 2-3 runs a game.
And I think the negative to it is that you want Ricky Nolasco to go deeper into a game and not have 90 pitches in the 5th inning.
That's a big key, too, Tug.
1-1 to Jerry Hairston. And Ricky's at 89 pitches now.
And teams do know that. If I'm in the dugout of the opposing team looking at Ricky or looking at video, I know that he has troubles putting away hitters. And I'll take that into the game and use that to my advantage. And that's the one thing you see from teams against him is wait him out till he does make that mistake.
That popped up. Buck comes back, loses the mask, and makes the catch. Dodgers get another run. Andre Ethier drives in Matt Kemp, and it's 2-0.
estado en SAP por Toyota.
Cookie and Raul join us now. Guys, tough to win when you're not scoring runs. Cookie.
How are you, Tommy? How you doing, Richie? How's it going?
Hey, we tried to get a little offense in the booth up here. We got Cliff up here with us, but so far that hasn't worked either.
Wow. Hey, ask him if he's ready to play. That man can hit. No question about it. 2-0 game right now. We haven't got only but one hit off a blade, and he's been pitching very well, showing a good velocity and a good curveball, and maintaining all of our hitters out of off balance, except Stanton, who hit that double to right center.
And that's the only hit right now for Miami. Stanton deep. If it's fair,
oh man,
it's foul.
We actually are right down the line. We enjoyed all of that, and
wow,
just at the last minute it broke foul.
Oh, did you see the height of that ball? It must have hit the blimp up there. It was open, no question. Wow.
That was over the foul pole.
Yes, it was. Absolutely.
The 1-2.
Almost landed in Taste of Miami, huh?
Struck him out with a fastball,
yes,
and Joe Blanton strikes out. Now, I know it wasn't a home run, but it's worth another look. The Coors Light Cold Hard Blast.
He got all of that one. There's no doubt about that one. Oh, wow. What a swing.
That looked like it tailed in a little bit.
I think
that
it was a
in.
changeup. Yeah, I think it was a changeup.
Yep.
Enrique Nolasco, struggled a little bit. He's been out of troubles quite a bit. But still, he maintained the game, reachable. 2 runs only that he had given up, but he's given up 9 hits in this ball game so far.
Donovan Solano getting the start with Greg Dobbs out with an oblique. I don't know if you want to call it a strain or a tweak. Solano sneaks that one down the line. And into left field it goes. Victorino picks it up. Solano hustling into second with a double. So Miami has their second hit. They've both been doubles. They've both come with 1 out. But the Marlins are at the bottom of the order right now. You've got Green, Buck, and Nolasco. Guys, have a good show tonight.
You too, guys.
And also, Rich, Ozzie will probably have to get the bullpen busy because you're getting down the pitcher spot. And at this point, you've got to go for it if you have an opportunity.
I agree with that, Hud, because you look at Nolasco, he does have 90 pitches, so it's not like he have a lot of bullets left. But with Blanton, that's the one thing, we've talked about is as the game gets long, he gets stronger. And that's the one thing the Marlins want to stay away from is, he gets stronger throughout. He'll give you 7 quality innings, but he feels the confidence. He has the confidence to get you through to that, 7th, 8th inning and then get to the bullpen.
He buries the 0-1 pitch, blowing outside. Green struck out in the second. So if Dobbs is not available, and you would think if he's scratched from the lineup with an oblique, he's not available to pinch hit. Brian Peterson, Scott Cousins.
Well, for me, Peterson is the guy off the bench immediately. The way he's been swinging the bat, the way he's swung the bat in the Mets series, gives me every indication that he's seeing the ball well right now.
And a lot of it just depends if you want to save Peterson for a little later. Ozzie's thinking that, and then we might see Cousins.
I watched both of them take BP today. Put on the show. Good swings. It's always good to get guys, into a flow. I always like even when I wasn't playing, my BPs I took serious because you're going to be in some. You never know when you're going to be in a situation like a tight game, so you have to prepare like that. And I think you should take those at bats into your BP rounds.
And that's so much harder to do when you are a younger player.
Expecting to play a lot more. So that's the roles you sort of find yourself in sometimes. And you have to figure it out. It's tough. I was on a show yesterday. I talked to Adam Dunn. Been in the National League all his life, and all of a sudden he goes to the American League to the White Sox, and he's a DH. Different role. You have to find a routine. As a pinch hitter in the National League, you have to find a routine, something to get you going. 7th inning, 8th inning to get the body, get the blood flowing, and give yourself a chance.
That's off of Hairston, and down the line it goes, and Solano's going to score. Green arrives at second with what should be an RBI hit. And Miami's on the board. And Nick Green almost hit that one right off the plate.
They're making it tough down there for Jerry Hairston Jr. The ball that Solano hit was by him. This one had some top spin, and it ate Hairston up. Look at the pitch. Slider off the plate. There's that bad hop.
Yeah,
and I agree. It should be a base hit.
So here's John Buck. Austin Kearns has pulled in on deck. And Blanton flips up a breaking ball for a strike.
And by the way, it is a base hit. A double.
Up and in.
See, that was one of the choices we didn't think about, but Austin Kearns, number one, more of a veteran hitter than Cousins and Peterson. Number two, he's done a great job pinch hitting this year, and he's hit right-handers actually better than lefties this year.
Here's another thing to think about when you get into a tight spot. At the end of the game, the Dodgers closer, Kenley Jansen, is right-handed. And so maybe that figures into who you use in the bottom of the fifth.
Yeah, you'll need the lefties.
Buck awaiting a 2-1. Well, Velasco has survived through 5 innings. He's kept the ball club close. 2-2. Buck drives it center field deep. Back goes Kemp. Way back. And it's off the wall. Around third and scoring is Green. This game is tied. 3 consecutive doubles. John Buck drives home Nick Green.
John Buck all of a sudden has become a doubles machine. He's hit now in 8 of his last 9 games, right around 300, and 7 doubles in that span. And all of them have been right center or center.
That's the key to him. You said it the other day. The key to him being successful is staying to the big part of the ballpark, not trying to be cool, happy, and it opens up everything for him. He has good pop. But he has to hit in the right places. He has to have the right mechanics. And right now, he is doing all the good things that you want to see. I've seen him before. I saw him in the American League. And John Buck hit some bombs, but he never hit the ball out to left field. They were always dead center in Kansas City, and that's why I saw him do most of his damage was through the middle of the field.
Rick Honeycutt, pitching coach for the Dodgers, a brief visit. Kearns is going to hit in Velasco's spot, so Ricky's night is over after 5 innings. And Miami, who had just 1 hit and didn't have a run coming into the 5th, now has 4 hits. All of them have been doubles. Two guys out of Lexington, Kentucky meeting here. Austin Kearns and Joe Blanton. Those are the pinch hitting numbers for Kearns. Kearns was a first round pick, 7th overall in '98 by the Reds. Not that far from Lexington. Ground ball base hit left field. Here comes Buck. He's held. Victorino's throw is cut.
Well, good job by Austin Kearns. Continues his nice run at pinch hitting. Got a breaking ball from Blanton.
Stayed on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
John Buck trying to show the wheels right there.
Yeah, John Buck took a nice turn at third base.
Aggressive turn.
That's the way you want to go until you see that stop sign.
It makes that outfielder make that throw. You know, and when an outfielder sees that, because he is charging the ball, he sees that. I play left field. You will see that guy running. That's when you make the mistakes, and that's exactly what you want from John Buck, for him to be aggressive, rounding third base.
That's the other thing we haven't discussed with the addition of Victorino. You've got a Gold Glove in every position out there in the Dodger outfield. Kemp has won a couple, and Ethier won one as a right fielder last year. Gorkys Hernandez, outstanding speed. We got Hairston thinking bunt on the grass at third. Loney holding Kearns. You don't have a lot of speed at the corners. He pushes the bunt. The run will score. That first and third bunt play has worked 3 times for Miami this year and producing runs on all 3 occasions. Nicely done by Gorkys Hernandez.
Absolutely. That was one of those 2-for-1s, too. He got Buck home and he got Kearns to second base in scoring position. And I like that, the push bunt in this situation up the first base side as opposed to taking it to third. If you go up the third base side, they may have a play at the plate with Buck the runner. Great job.
Ruggiano now. He's 0 for 2 against Blanton, who misses outside. Dodger bullpen is active now. Miami 3 runs here in the 5th. Fouled at the plate. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Sean Tollison. The Giants have won today, and they won big. So they have a half-game lead over Don Mattingly's Dodgers. But of course, the Dodgers, with a win here tonight, would be back even before Sunday's games start. Arizona 4 back. Blanton misses in. 2-1. Ruggiano homering in the first inning against Clayton Kershaw last night. And he smacks it into right field. That's a base hit. Scoring is Kearns. Ruggiano again. Boy, not just hitting, but big hits for Justin Ruggiano.
Well, we see Ruggiano night after night drive balls to all fields. We saw him hit a 430-foot home run last night, and then he got a pitch out over the plate and drove that one into right center.
You know, he can play, and he's showing that, and I think the confidence right now for him is through the roof right now. He's not trying to do anything other than hit the ball where it's pitched, and he's getting good results.
Throw to first. Time now for the Jesserman Keep Your Edge spotlight. You see Ruggiano after 56 games. You can keep your edge with Jesserman mustache and beard. Ruggiano's running. The pitch is taken for a strike. The throw to second. He's out. The glove got in just before his foot arrived. But Miami, a 4-run rally here in the bottom of the 5th. Big hits all around. And maybe tonight, Ricky's a winner.
Giancarlo Stanton in the 5th inning with a shot. Unfortunately for the Marlins, and Stanton going foul, but fortunately, our Coors Light Freeze Cam recipient of the baseballs, this guy, Matt Mujica, who was just walking right up about 30 feet behind me near the Taste of Miami. You don't expect to get a ball there.
I didn't. I turned around real quick. I saw everyone running towards it. I saw it on the floor, and I just ran, dive, and I got it.
There it is, and you have the Coors Light Freeze Cam ball. Congratulations.
Exactly. Thank you.
All right, Matt. Matt Mujica, good spot, good time. Good inning for the Marlins, too. Back to you.
All right, thank you. It's 4-2. Now the game turns, not only with the Marlins getting 4 runs, but on the mound. Ricky Nolasco was able to manage through a night where he didn't have his best stuff, but he held the Dodgers to just 2 runs. And it's Carlos Zambrano who's first out of the bullpen. Now the Marlins will try to piece it together from here. Top of the 6th, A.J. Ellis takes a strike.
Well, back to Nolasco, you know, that's what you want from him. Been struggling, was able to still come out and give your team a quality start. That's something he can build on to his next start.
Breaking ball, ground ball. Solano on to first in time. Zambrano has a quick out.
Well, a couple of times for Zambrano, he's been the recipient of coming into a Wade LeBlanc game and getting a win last couple of times out of the bullpen.
I don't think anyone's coming into a Wade LeBlanc game tomorrow because I think LeBlanc's ready to go 5-6 innings.
He's ready to go more than 85 pitches.
And Zambrano's going to have to face a veteran now, a pinch hitter, as you see Javi Guerra in the bullpen. Juan Uribe into his 2nd year with the Dodgers, and a guy that's certainly familiar to Ozzie Guillen and Joey Cora, because it was Uribe who was the starting shortstop for that World Championship team in 2005 with the White Sox.
It's 16 home runs that year, Rich.
And he was a very good postseason player in 2010 for the Giants. But he bounces out, a brief appearance in the ball game. And here comes Victorino, the top of the order.
And 2 quick outs for Zambrano, who I'm sure in this game right now, in the situation that it is, Ozzie would love to see a couple of innings, if not more.
There's a really unique situation here now, Cliff, because the Dodgers have seen Nolasco for 3 at-bats, 4th at-bat for Victorino. Now this is a whole different set of circumstances. You've got Zambrano, who's not just a 2-pitch relief pitcher. He's a complete guy whose fastball moves. He can change it. He can spin it.
And that's always good.
So I got a question for both of you guys, and I'm sure it's going around Ozzie's mind. He gives you a couple of innings and his spot in the order comes up. You don't necessarily have to pinch hit for him and go to the bullpen because he can give you 4 innings.
Well, especially when you have Dobbs down for the night. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. So
even if you are going to take him out the next inning, you might let him hit.
You let him hit.
I would let him hit.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. And it's fouled off. One of the things I think that is lost in this season with all the ups and downs and trades for the Marlins is the fact that Zambrano has been a model teammate, a model citizen. He hasn't had the best results at times on the mound, but he completely has turned his career around in terms of character, and he's had a great inning here. Victorino doesn't like the call. Zambrano strikes him out. 1-2-3 go the Dodgers in the 6th. We are all headed to the Tommy Bahama store in Coral Gables. It's in the village of Merrick Park, and it's a big fundraising. It's a great night. 10% of all purchases from that Tommy Bahama store will go to the Marlins Community Foundation. If you buy something and spend $100 in the store, you'll get a Major League Baseball. You can have it autographed by a Justin Ruggiano or a Steve Cishek. Scott Cousins. Cliff Floyd will be there. Tommy Hutton will be there. Allison Williams will be there. Craig Minervini, Frank Fort as well. And we'll all be there after the ball game. So after the game from 4 to 8, they'll have appetizers. There's no admission. So if you're in the area, you want to meet those players. If you want to compare your wardrobe to Cliff's, bring it on tomorrow night. Javi Guerra takes over for Joe Blanton, and he'll pitch the bottom of the 6th for the Dodgers. It is free. It's
$3.99 is always good to me.
It's free, but once you come into Tommy Bahama, you're going to want to buy some stuff.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to buy a couple of things.
There's Reyes now. He leads it off with Lee and Stanton to follow. And the Marlins lineup banged up a bit tonight. Exploded in the 5th for 5 hits, 3 doubles, 4 runs. And Joe Blanton is no more. Reyes takes a strike. It's 1-1.
Javi Guerra done a pretty good job out of that Dodger bullpen, and in this type of role, primarily fastballs and sliders.
When you talk about roles, Tommy, Guerra came into the season as the Dodgers closer. Since lost that to Kelly Jansen, and you know, it's come on to a new role, and I think he's, as you said, done a good job of making adjustments because it's not easy.
Reyes bangs one right into center field, a base hit.
That's good to see, because after the streak was snapped in New York, and you wanted to see Jose get back on that horse again and start another one. So good base hit up the middle there.
Sweet stroke. It's always funny to see the pitcher reach up like he's going to grab that with his bare hand.
You said the little thumb guard that he's got in his mouth right now. He's adjusting the wrist guard on his hand just in case he is sliding head first. He's got the right thumb taped, and he's got the wrist guard on the left hand. It's funny how hitters can call timeout to adjust anything they want. Base runners have to adjust it on the fly.
Yes.
It's like, hey, if you're going to put something on, you got to do it while you're taking your lead during the at-bat.
Checking out the outfielders, checking the scoreboard.
That's why I slid feet first. I didn't have to do all that stuff.
Did you carry batting gloves in your hands so that you wouldn't drag your hands?
Yeah, I carry batting gloves. Well, the purpose I had was so I could put my hands up. I wanted to have something in my hand just in case I did put my hand down on the ground that wouldn't jam my hand into the ground and hurt my wrist.
And by having something in your hand, you're more aware of dragging your hands.
Yes.
And did you do that before you had the bad hand injury?
Oh yeah.
All the time?
Well, I did a little bit before her, but after the bad injury, every time.
For sure.
For sure.
Reyes away from first. Remember, Ruggiano was thrown out trying to steal to finish off the 5th. 4-2 Miami. Javi Guerra in for Joe Blanton. You know, Blanton came into this year 6-2 in his career against Miami. If the Marlins win this game, without the Dodgers coming back to tie it or take the lead, Blanton will go to 1-3 against Miami. The Marlins may see him again because Miami's going to Los Angeles in a couple weeks. That's a foul ball. Wow. Hairston diving. Chris Conroy was right on the line, and Carlos Lee didn't offer any argument. Well, that's really close. And again, the rule is
if it bounces in fair territory and then goes over the bag, doesn't have to land in fair territory.
That's right. The 1-2.
Yep. Foul ball back.
Good call.
And Lee swings and misses.
Here's a situation, by the way, where you want Jose Reyes to stay put at first base. Because if he steals successfully and first base is open, Stanton's not going to see anything to hit.
Right.
After the Lee strikeout, Stanton has doubled, and he was called out on strikes, both those at bats against Joe Blanton.
It's like a 91-mile-an-hour cutter or something.
That looked like it moved. Yeah,
funky.
that looked like a good cutter.
Out to center. Kemp lines it up. Reyes tags, but Kemp alertly gets it in quickly. You know, when that ball went down the third baseline, you thought it was Hairston, but Luis Cruz has snuck into this ball game, and he's at third. There was no double switch. Cruz right now is listed in Jerry Hairston's spot.
And all I can think is, you know, back in the last inning, that backhand play that Harrison tried to make, maybe it hit off his wrist or something. It could have hurt him, but I didn't see anything other than that.
That ball that Nick Green hit.
Yes.
He had 2 or 3 balls.
Two balls. Solano stroked one by him.
He had to dive on both those. .95 miles an hour. He gets a strike. Solano, boy, what a big base hit for Solano. A late replacement for Greg Dobbs and placed behind Stanton in the order. And he doubled to start the rally in the 5th. Fouls it back to the screen.
I really like Donovan Solano and his at-bats. You know, I know Ozzie probably doesn't want to overexpose him too much, but I think when you look at his at-bats and what he's been able to do on the fly has been phenomenal. You know, and learning as he goes.
He swings and misses at a high fastball. There's the closer coming out of Guerra there. Miami up 4-2. 11:30 home plate and first base entrances. If you bring some school supplies, you'll get 2 tickets to an upcoming game. Anything you got, book bags, pencils, pens, notebooks, crayons, paper, protractor, compass, whatever you have. And Craig Minervini's got more on that. Craig?
Well, thank you very much, Rich. It's the annual not only wives but fiancés. Here's Marissa Mitchell. It's Steve Cishek's fiancé. Over here, Shelly Ruggiano and Paige Murphy, wife of Donnie Murphy. You guys are going to be out busy tomorrow, huh?
Yes, we are. Very busy.
What are you going to be collecting? And I know this is a nice annual thing you guys do and get a chance to meet the fans, too.
Yes, we are collecting school supplies for, I think, schools around the area. I'm not exactly sure if it's benefiting a specific school, but schools around the area. So if you bring school supplies, you can get 2 free tickets to a future game.
That's right, 2 free tickets to next year's game. You guys will be out at all the entrances tomorrow and getting all the important supplies. It's that time of year, huh?
It is. It's that time of year again. We just really hope we get a lot of people out to donate those supplies that those kids really need.
Yeah, it's for the underserved youth. And Shelly, you're going to be out there tomorrow, too.
Yeah.
Your first time as a Marlins wife.
Yeah, I'm excited. We'll be there.
Did you want to throw it back to the guys there?
Oh, yeah. Back to you, Rich and Tommy.
Oh, don't forget Cliff tonight. Don't forget Cliff Floyd's there, too.
Oh, and Cliff Floyd. You too.
Look for the wives tomorrow. Again at the entrances, guys. And it's a great thing they do every year. All those supplies go to the needy in our area. Back to you.
All right, thank you. And we will do. Inning number 2 now for Carlos Zambrano. Ricky Nolasco went the first 5. And Zambrano gets into the part of the Dodger order that not only gave Nolasco problems, but gave Mark Burley problems last night, and that's Kemp, Ethier, and Hanley Ramirez. Zambrano has retired all 4 that he's faced. His breaking ball misses outside.
I think this is big for Zambrano and his psyche. Just getting through an inning like this. Where he's had troubles a little bit throughout the season, but to get the heart of order like the Dodgers would be big for him, I think, moving forward.
Just getting Matt Kemp would be a nice accomplishment after the series that Kemp has had. 4 for 7. This is game number 69 for Kemp, and he's driven in 45. He's got 17 homers.
We talked about what he did last year. Led the National League in home runs and RBIs last year.
Breaking ball, he drives it right center. Ruggiano over, or rather Hernandez over, and he knocks it down. That was a ball that hung up a little bit, and maybe more than Gorky's Hernandez thought would.
That ball carried a lot more, I guarantee, than Gorky's Hernandez thought.
They had a little backspin, and that's Gorky not being out there consistently and being able to get the jump off that bat. But the difference of Ruggiano and the jumps he's been getting on balls, you see Gorky go out and then around it, then get a good read.
It's a 1-out single. Ozzie on his way to the mound, and he wants the baseball, and Zambrano is coming out, and with Ethier coming up, here comes Mike Dunn. played, and the Dodgers have forced Ozzie Guillen to bring Carlos Zambrano out of the ballgame. Zambrano knows that in years past he may have taken that Gatorade container and done some unholy things to it, to put it lightly.
Yeah,
what you're saying, not just drink it.
Right. They had that fine little machine at Wrigley Field that gave you different flavors of Gatorade that didn't last too long.
No.
Now here's Mike Dunn coming in to face Andre Ethier. Zambrano gets 4 outs. And this is an indication, guys, that Ozzie Guillen, rather than let Zambrano go deep, is going to try to piece it together from here.
Yeah, he's got Dunn there now. Hanley's on deck, but then you have Loney, another left-handed hitter, to follow.
Ryan Webb is up in the pen, and he's ready to go. Ethier is 2 for 3. Kemp has a stolen base already tonight, and it's fouled back to the screen. And Kemp has his 10th 3-hit game this year, and remember, he has not played a full schedule.
Tell you, Dunn could be in here just to face Ethier, and Webb could be getting ready for Hanley Ramirez.
And Ozzie Guillen may call the Dodger bullpen and ask if the Dodgers could get Randy Choate up for him.
He's got to get the number from Mattingly, though.
Ethier splits. They're pretty dramatic.
You know, when the ballpark was first laid out, there was some thought to have the Marlins bullpen in right field, so it could be seen by the home club.
That had nothing to do with the distraction of the Clevelander.
I think that may have factored into it.
Yeah, I was trying to look in last night. I mean, you know what? I mean, you can see a little bit, but you can't see that much.
How's our sight lines? Are we going to be able to see the ball, the field and everything?
You'll be fine down.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be situated fine. I don't know how much you're going to see of the field.
It's tough to see in. It's tough to see in, but apparently, from all reports, you can see out.
Better believe it.
Here's the 0-2. Ball in 2 strikes. Boy, last night, Hanley Ramirez had 3 hits. Kemp had a couple of hits. Tonight, Kemp has 3 more hits. Ethier has 2 hits. Hanley has 1. And it's taken a couple of nice plays by Nick Green at third base to keep him at just 1.
I think with that said, that's why you probably do see Webb warming up, because Mike Dunn can get lefties and righties out. But with I think you would take your chances more so with Webb as opposed to Mike Dunn.
Well, remember the at bat last night. Hanley hit the swinging bunt.
Webb made good pitches
against Webb, and you're right. Webb made very good pitches. Dunn trying to get Ethier. Ethier into center. Gorkys Hernandez makes the catch. Fires to first. That was close. Hernandez kind of deked Kemp. Kemp turned to go back to first, and at that point Hernandez wasn't throwing, and once Hernandez saw that, he did throw.
I'm not sure if Carlos Lee put on a little decoy, but he could have as well, and pretended maybe there's not a throw coming this way. No deke on El Caballo's part.
No.
But Kemp just got back, yeah.
Well, it's Dunn who is going to face Hanley Ramirez. I think everybody was curious to hear what the fans' reaction was going to be But at the same time, there was that sense, not of dread, but of fear that Hanley was going to come back motivated and do some damage in this series.
Yeah, well, you know, that's senses I got from being out, in the crowd's atmosphere yesterday. You know, everybody was just worried about the fact that, yeah, we booing him, and we hope he doesn't hurt us at the end of the day.
And I think the bottom line for fans who followed Hanley Ramirez, they wish him the best and would love to see him in the playoffs with the Dodgers.
I really think they do. I think, but, you know, it was just a good time for both parties to separate. It was just, you know, it wasn't getting done here, whether he felt the pressure, whatever the case may be. I think the Marlins had plan B, and you executed that way.
0-2 in the dirt. Buck knocks it down. Mike Dunn's out in front. He's 1-2 on Hanley Ramirez. If you've just popped into this ball game, the Dodgers had lots of opportunities early against Ricky Nolasco, but Nolasco, as he has done his entire career, hung in there and hung in there. Dodgers left the bases loaded twice in the first 2 innings and had just 2 runs, while Joe Blanton gave up just 1 hit through the first 4 innings. Then Miami jumped him for 4, and it's 4-2 now. Hanley fouls it back and out of play. Miami still doesn't have an answer for Matt Kemp. He has 3 hits tonight. Ethier's had good at bats. Hanley's hit the ball hard all 3 times.
Well, with Kemp, you kept him in the ballpark, and I think if you can keep him in the ballpark and keep him in singles and make the pitches on the other guys, you give yourself a chance.
I think with Hanley, Dunn has a couple of options. If he goes up with the fastball, he has to keep it middle in. Try to tie him up.
Breaking ball with a runner moving, and the throw is not in time, and that hamstring seems to be fully healed.
Yeah, not talking about that anymore.
Kemp has swiped 2 bags.
And the other option for Dunn was to get Hanley to chase a breaking ball. He didn't chase this one. Kemp with his 2nd stolen base tonight.
Counts 2-2. Check swing, no swing on the appeal. Well, he's gone with that breaking ball, but Hanley hasn't taken the bait.
Yep, he didn't go.
Nope. Now it's full. 3-2 coming. Breaking ball, ground ball. Green again at third. And he fires to first in time. Dunn gets out of the inning. And a 7th inning stretch brought to you by Supercuts finds Miami up 4-2 over the Dodgers. Dodgers. Nick Green, John Buck, pitcher spot. Green takes a strike. Green doubled in the fifth. Boy, the Marlins rose up from the bottom of the order and smacked Joe Blanton, didn't they? It was Donovan Solano, Nick Green, John Buck, Austin Kearns as a pinch hitter with a single. The first 3 hits were doubles. In the air to Kemp, who makes the catch. Bobby Guerra into his second inning in relief.
Basically, what they did was just start swinging the pitches that Bland was throwing out there, trying to get ahead in the count, and some balls sort of found their way through.
You saw Heath Bell getting ready for the 8th. And so here's Buck. Of all the doubles, Buck's struck the best. It was a blast to center that probably went about 405 feet from home plate. It one hopped the wall, a big green wall in center field. Garrett cuts it and gets a strike. There it is, the green wall with the triangle.
I mean, you think at some point they'll bring that fence in a little bit, Huck?
I don't know. I think if you see the ball club built around speed, and you don't have to worry about Stanton, he can hit him out of any ballpark, so it doesn't matter. I don't think so.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. We talked about it in New York after the reconfiguration of Citi Field. Everyone seems to like the new dimensions and the fact that it looks like that's how the ballpark was built. It doesn't look like they, all of a sudden came in and with a construction crew and threw up some fences. Here's the 2-2. Sandy Alderson, before he was in New York, he was with the Padres. They were considering doing the same thing, and it sounds like the Padres are moving in that direction. Seattle is also a team that's considering bringing in their fences.
Well, you look around the baseball. I mean, you look at Citi Field, and you look at Comerica Park. They brought their fences in. So I guess you start big, and then you go as your team goes.
It's a lot easier to bring them in than push them back.
Yeah, the Phillies found that out.
John Buck with a base hit to left field.
I think I've said it before. If it wouldn't bother me if all of a sudden the 12-foot fence became an 8-foot fence, though.
I would like that a lot.
Same distance, just lower the fence a little.
I would like anything that gives you an advantage as a hitter.
Of course you would.
Well, here's Peterson now. The Marlins already have a pinch hit out of this spot, and that was Kearns in the 5th inning. And on a night where Greg Dobbs seemingly is not available, he's taken out of the starting lineup with a sore oblique. Peterson up with a runner at first, and that's Buck, and 1 out.
Yeah, John Buck on a nice roll right now, having good swings, a couple of hits tonight.
But when you think middle of the field, that's how you get those balls through the infield on the left side. You stay on the ball that split second more.
Hot smash to third, out there. The turn by Ellis, just out there. And Javi Guerra puts a scoreless inning in the 7th. 4-2. Here comes Heath Bell. Poll question tonight. We started on Marlins Live. Best young hitter from South Florida in the major leagues. Manny Machado, of course, had the 2-homer game yesterday. John Jay has done a terrific job in center field in St. Louis. Anthony Rizzo getting a chance now with the Cubs. And the 2 Padres, Yonder Alonso, Yasmani Grandal. And look at the vote, guys. 20, 20, 20, 20, 20.
It just shows you the talent that's in this area.
I like the kid Manny Machado. Had a chance to talk to him before he stepped on the minor league field with Baltimore when he got drafted, and he's already ahead of his years. Just seemed poised, very, very mature for his age, and you know, you can just see in his eyes that he's ready to get out there and get it going.
Bell has been on a nice run trying to rehabilitate the ERA, get back in the good graces of his manager, and would obviously love to be back in the closer role. Steve Cishek, to his credit, has been terrific as the Marlins closer during this sabbatical, so to speak, from Bell.
I think John Beck said it best the other day is Heath Bell's been able to establish his fastball, and then his curveball has been throwing for strikes, and that's been a difference in everything he's done. Is that curveball is getting over for strikes, which you give the hitter more things to think about as opposed to saying, well, I can forget about your curveball out of your repertoire and just think about the fastball. And that's one thing they was pretty much hitting him on is his fastball. As soon as he left it up, they were jumping all over it.
That's what was happening early. He just had trouble with the curveball, and then the fastball was up too.
Here's something to think about. This is the 37th appearance for Bell against the Dodgers. 1-1 with an ERA of 1.37. And a flip over to first, and Loney is out number 1. And that's one of the nice things about Bell in the 8th, and it helps him certainly as a closer, is that he's just as good at righties and lefties.
Well, his last 5 years with the Padres, he matched up a whole lot with the Dodgers.
Yeah. Here's Cruz now, and it's his first at bat of the night. He came in for Jerry Hairston. Still no word as to whether Hairston was injured. One 0 pitch, swing and a miss. Ball and a strike and an out. In the top of the 8th, 4-2. Miami. The Giants, of course, we told you early in the evening, they polished off the Rockies 9-3. Don Mattingly and the Dodgers, when they woke up this morning, they were tied with the Giants, but San Francisco with the wins a half game up. It becomes a full game lead if Miami holds on and wins this ball game.
Well, the Giants have those 3 quality starters at the top, and if Lincecum can go back to what he once was a couple years ago, then they really are something down the stretch, and that's the difference in their team and the Dodgers. You know, the Dodgers went out and got Joe Bland, and I thought that was a big move for them to sort of counter what the Giants are doing.
Here's the 2-2. Ground ball up the middle. Solano backhands. Quick release. Gets the out. Cruz is out number 2. One thing that could add a little spice, as if it needs any, to the Dodgers and the Giants down the stretch is that the team that is in second place, and as we told you, it's the Dodgers by half a game right now. They're not in that second wild card spot. Atlanta and Pittsburgh are 1-2 in the wild card right now. And the Giants are 2 games behind Pittsburgh. The Dodgers are 2.5 games behind Pittsburgh, the second team.
Adding spice to the Dodgers and Giants, I thought you were going to tell me Juan Marichal and John Roseboro were making a comeback.
We were talking about that before the ball game, and One of the things that is odd about that whole thing is Marichal ended his career as a Dodger.
Yes, he did.
A.J. Ellis discussing that with Mark Carlson. Juan Rivera is on deck. Bell misses, and it's 2-1. That Nationals-Arizona game is a good one. It's 5-4. Washington in the top of the 5th. We told you Atlanta has been handling the Mets all night. 9-3, top 9. Atlanta in New York. Braves trying to win their 66th game, while Washington is trying to win their 71st.
Amazing.
And showing no signs of slowing down right now.
There's been a lot of talk about Steven Strasburg in 100 innings. 180 innings. I just don't understand it. I really don't, from a standpoint of the 24 other guys in the locker room. But I guess, you know, Mike Rizzo has a better plan. And that's why I'm sitting here talking with you guys.
High throw, and it ends up in the seats. Nick Green airmails Carlos Lee.
Boy, and had time. And when you see a throw like this, it's a matter of the feet not getting in the right position. The arm angle is down, not in the right position. No chance at all.
So Bell threw a good pitch, but now he's got Ellis in scoring position. And he's got Rivera at the plate,
who we saw his home run power last night.
Yeah, Rivera's hit was the big one last night, the 2-run homer off of Mark Burley. But he pops him up, and Solano calls for it. Heath Bell, a terrific inning in the 8th, and Miami's got that 4-2 lead. Friend of ours, Misty May Trainer, is in the house. 3-time Olympic gold medalist, and she just got a standing ovation from the 27,000.
Pretty awesome.
And it's a family Sunday. I'm supposed to say that. First 5,000 kids. get an Office Depot binder on their way into the Marlins-Dodgers game. And her husband, Matt Trainer, always one of our favorites. Probably going to be in the lineup tomorrow and get a start. He's played quite well for the Dodgers this year.
Yes, he has.
In that backup spot. Gorkys Hernandez. And Javi Guerra is gone. Brandon League takes over.
Talked about Brandon League, over 35 saves last year with Seattle. Guy who's done it a lot with a good fastball and a splitter.
Breaking ball for a strike to Gorkys Hernandez.
Yeah, you think about it, Rich. It's a nice couple of additions the Dodgers have made. And we've talked about Victorino and helping the offense, but with Guerra, who was with him, not an addition, but a guy who's closed games. Now you got Brandon League, who's been a closer. That gives him a nice 7th, 8th, and 9th inning.
Yes, it does.
And then the addition of Randy Choate matching up against some lefties.
And I like that too. But you know, you talk about that T-Hud, and you always think about shortening games, giving guys, you know, roles. And I think these guys are finally finding.
That's into right field. Gorkys Hernandez on his way to second base. It could be a hit and a throwing error. A.J. Ellis trying to make that play. He surprisingly got it quickly, but was off balance when he threw it. And Miami's got their leadoff runner aboard here, and he's in scoring position.
Yeah, with the speed of Gorkys Hernandez, that was a great effort by Ellis, and totally surprised that he was able to get to it, make a throw. But once the throw got by Loney, there's the bare hand and the snap throw, but should be an infield single and then an error.
As it is, you've got great speed. Now you've got Ruggiano with Reyes and Lee, and a chance for an insurance run in the bottom of the 8th. Ruggiano an RBI single in that 5th inning. And Lee misses down low. Steve Cishek in Miami's bullpen.
Ruggiano thinking about getting a ball out over the plate. If anything, at least get Hernandez to third base. Boy, because of that, Brandon League, he's thinking just the opposite. He ran that fastball in on his hands. Funny how pitchers think that way.
Yeah.
Ruggiano will adjust the protector. League was a 2nd-round pick by the Toronto Blue Jays.
You know, you get that protector on and it goes right above that shingle. And you go, you know what? Are you serious?
Let's see what he gets. 1-1. And he got a fastball right down the middle. And it's 1-2. With runners in scoring position, he's over 300. And that includes the RBI single he had in the 5th. Marlins were 4 for 4 in the 5th with runners in scoring position. Hernandez got a great break on that ball in the dirt, and he arrives at third base with a count 2-2.
You can't teach those instincts.
No.
You can tell runners when you see that ball bounce that far in front of home plate, the odds of the catcher making a clean play are slim. And as soon as that ball bounced, he took off.
Yeah, that was a heads-up play by him, and you know that's something you like you said, Tom. You can't teach, but when you have guys that come into the game, relievers, you definitely have to take advantage of their leg kicks. Their main purpose is getting a hitter out.
And League bounces another one up there. That was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. The infield is in. And Ruggiano just trying for contact with nobody out. Full count. And he got him. So big strikeout for Lee. Now you've got Reyes.
You have that opportunity also, Rich, for that safety squeeze, too. Well, they're not going to pitch to Jose.
They are going to pitch to Carlos Lee and try to get a double play.
They're going to go after a guy who this year overall with the Astros and the Marlins is a .340 hitter with runners in scoring position, and as a Marlin is over .450.
Maybe they know something we don't.
Well, and there's this too. It puts Reyes at first, and he's in a spot where he can steal second.
And he puts pressure on the defense then because of the speed at third in Gorkis Hernandez.
Absolutely.
So
I think one thing we can all agree on, the Marlins have executed the first and third bunt play beautifully this year on numerous occasions. Doubtful that they will call it with Carlos Lee at the plate.
Man, we do totally agree on that one.
Okay. I was waiting for an amen.
I'll give it 2 hands up.
And Don Mattingly is out to discuss.
He wants to talk to everybody in the infield. All right, if Reyes takes off, he wants to talk to his catcher. What does he do?
That's a great shot with Carlos Lee coming back into the dugout.
Scouting report.
I love that.
Yeah.
Ruggiano, when you strike out, last thing you want to do is talk to anybody, especially with a man in the scoring position, less than 2 outs. Big part of the game, but for Ruggiano to get over that and help your teammate is awesome to see.
And it also tells you a little bit about Carlos Lee. I mean, a veteran guy who you would think, oh, he doesn't have to do that. He wanted to learn a little bit more.
Well, let's see how the Marlins play this now. The Dodgers are back for 2. They're thinking ground ball. Reyes away from first. You've got great speed at both corners. League is ready.
If Reyes takes off, there's no way they can throw through to second base.
No.
And yeah, it opens up first base, but the Dodgers are still going to pitch to Lee. Stanton's on deck. At least you would expect that. And Lee gets a strike. It's 0-1. Whatever League is throwing up there right now, and not a comfortable AB for right-handed hitters.
It looks like a nasty two-seam fastball that's mid-90s.
95 plus.
Yeah.
With movement. Give you time to think about anything.
And if Ruggiano had trouble and Lee has trouble, you would think that would expedite Reyes' departure.
You would hope for an on-time departure.
He's running, and Lee fouls it at the plate.
Looked like he tried to cheat a little to get to that fastball in there.
0-2. %68%. The league average is just over 50%. But of course, the Dodgers are banking on a ground ball for a double play. Reyes at first, Gorkis Hernandez at third. Both are very fast. Brandon League. Reyes not running, and that two-seamer darts in.
Sort of slings it up there. It's one of those pitches that's why you're getting that sink. And before, he used to get hit a little bit. He didn't have that sinker moving in on righties like that.
Infield is in. Reyes is running, and Lee fouls it off again. So both times that Reyes has been on the move, Lee has fouled it off. And the Dodgers changing. I mean, it's a curious change to have your infield back playing for 2, and then once the count is 0-2, to bring him in.
They're thinking 0-2, he's not going to get as good a swing. He might roll one out, so you might have a play at the plate, but it's going to be tough with Hernandez at third base.
Reyes is running. 1-2 pitch driven to left field and deep. That one's in the gap. That one's off the wall. Hernandez will score. Here comes Reyes, and he scores.
Does it again.
El Caballo drives in 2.
And the conversation with Justin Ruggiano paid off.
Went to the well too many times. Kept going in there and made a mistake, and El Caballo will make you pay for that one.
There it is, that slinging two-seamer, middle in. And Carlos Lee made the adjustment. I mean, that's why he's such a great hitter.
And the balls before that, the ball he was fouling off were a foot inside, and he was just getting enough to foul him off. And that one was right there for him in his wheelhouse.
Now here is Stanton. So 2 big insurance runs across. And League bounces one up there. But he can be tough to hit. He looks like he's really tough to catch.
He finally went with a pitch other than that fastball.
At the knees. Stanton doubled in the second. He is struck out, flied out. He hit a mammoth ball that was foul that ended up in the Taste of Miami. And League with an off-speed pitch, Stanton out in front.
That's that splitter. That's that splitter.
It's dirty.
It is when he can throw the two-seamer for a strike. League was a guy that the Blue Jays drafted in the second round. You see Tolleson. And Seattle traded to get League, and they sent Brandon Morrow back to Toronto. Morrow, of course, is out with an injury, but a quality arm. Stanton got out in front of that one, and he lifts it to left. Victorino charges in, and he makes the catch. And they kind of compounded Seattle's predicament because they passed on Tim Lincecum to draft Brandon Morrow and then tried to turn Morrow into a closer, and that didn't quite work. They finally decided to trade Morrow for a closer, which was League, and he was an all-star last year, but he's no longer a Mariner.
And aside from some various injuries, Brandon Morrow is a terrific starting pitcher.
Yeah. He's finally figured it out.
Carlos Lee, Hanley Ramirez is saying that Lee is out. El Caballo looked like he got back in.
Yeah.
Solano takes down low. Donovan Solano has doubled. Miami has a hit from every spot in the batting order, which is impressive because they have just 10 hits. And there's another one. Solano dumps it into right field. El Caballo rumbles around third, and he scores. "7-2.
And just another big hit for Donovan Solano. You love the insurance, a little icing on the cake. Fastball's up. He stays on top of it nicely. And hit it in the right spot that Carlos Lee came in to score from second base.
Stay through it, Tommy. Hit to the opposite field, not try to pull a 95-mile-an-hour two-seamer in. He's just a smart hitter. Love watching him hit.
Well, Brandon League looked like he was tough to hit, but Miami ends up knocking him out of the inning. Our Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction. You can go to marlins.com/fantasy auction and view all of these. You can start with the Best Buy watch party. You get an HD TV and a private catered watch party for $20. The reverse road trip sponsored by the Clevelander. 3 incredible nights here in Miami. You get to come to 3 games and you get 3 nights at the Clevelander. So if you have any strength left after 3 nights at the Clevelander, you can come out and see the Marlins and the Phillies. What else is on there? The Ultimate Boat Bash. Now, Cliff Floyd, how would you like to have 25 kids, 25 adults, and have a big-time party on the biggest ship around?
You know what? I'm looking for that one. I would love that one.
That's brought to you by Royal Caribbean. And the kids get to do all the cool stuff, the flow rider, surf-type thing, all the cool stuff. And it's open bar for the adults. There you go.
Well, looking forward to seeing that one. Is open bar? Did you say open bar?
I said open bar again.
Again.
Miami bucket list. The Miami bucket list is just crammed full of Heat tickets, Dolphin tickets, concert tickets, all kinds of stuff. So check it out, marlins.com/fantasy auction. And when you're online as well, if you want to come out and be on television and be part of the party, you can buy dinner tickets to get you in the Clevelander for Monday night. And Tommy and I will be doing the game from out in left field. We will be out right underneath the 386 sign.
Might come out and have to mess with you guys a little bit.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
You know, hang around.
Hey, by the way, Rich, you talked about everybody. Yeah, we're going to be right in this area, right in here. We're going to be broadcasting. But you mentioned everybody in the lineup with the base hit. This is a great team effort. This is one of those wins that everybody feels good about. And keep in mind, Donovan Solano wasn't in the original lineup. Remember, he was a late replacement for Greg Dobbs.
And many, when they looked at the lineup to begin with, looked at the lineup and said, Gorkys Hernandez leading off and playing center field.
Right.
you expected Brian Peterson there, but Ozzie went with Gorkys Hernandez. He's had a nice game. Delivered a big safety squeeze bunt, a hit, scored a run. Ruggiano had a key hit. Reyes has been on base twice. Carlos Lee, the 2-run double. Stanton, a double. Solano's 2 hits. Green, RBI double. Buck, RBI double. Kern's a pinch hit.
And this is what I talked about. This is a team that when they get going and everybody follows suit, they can be dangerous.
I think you get to a point of the season, too, that you want to take on those teams that are in contention, the ones that are battling for a wild card spot or for a division title. You want to play those teams.
You still have that pride. You want to go out there and play the game the right way. I think it starts with Jose Reyes and some of the other, guys that you want to become, that's going to become leaders at some point, whether they like it or not. It starts with those guys. They have fun playing the game the right way, and everybody just sort of follows in and follows right behind them.
And you want those teams to say, we don't want to play the Marlins.
Full count, 2 outs. Solano was moving. Green fouls it off. Well, it's not a save situation, but Steve Cishek is up in the bullpen. He could use the work. been a while since Cishek has been in a ball game. In the air, right field. Ethier makes the catch. Inning over, but Miami puts 3 insurance runs up and takes a 5-run lead into the 9th. Against the Dodgers, who won last night. Steve Cishek comes out of the bullpen.
Yeah, you talked about it, Rich. The last time Steve Cishek worked was in New York. Came on to close that 4-2 win out. Picked up save number 7.
And so a chance here to get some work, to stay sharp, and to deliver win number 9 to Ricky Nolasco. And as you talked about the team effort in the lineup, it's been a team effort with Nolasco battling through 5, didn't have his best stuff, but he kept the Dodgers at 2 runs. Zambrano, Dunn, Heath Bell looked real good tonight.
You know, in Ricky's previous 5 starts, the Marlins had scored a total of 6 runs.
And that's one of the things we talked about.
Yeah.
In some of those games, if the Marlins put 5 or 6 runs up, you know, Ricky is seen as a guy that didn't have his best stuff and wins one of those games.
He probably settles down a little bit more and goes out there and, you know, competes a little bit as opposed to thinking. And I think that's one of the reasons that gets Ricky in trouble a little bit is he sort of gets in his own way sometimes when he's thinking on the mound. But, you know, when you see that stat, it goes to show you that sometimes it's tough when you go out there day in and day out every 5th day. You don't get the run support. You know, you don't sort of settle down and get comfortable. And I think, you know, it sort of hurt him just a little bit.
Here's Victorino. Sends one out into left center field. And it's misplayed and I believe lost in the lights by Ruggiano. Victorino ends up at second. Ruggiano coming on, he reached, and at the last minute he turned his head.
Yeah, he's been doing such a nice job in center field, and all of a sudden making the switch right about here. He turns his head away, so he lost it somehow.
Totally lost it in the lights.
I don't think that's the first ball maybe we've seen an outfielder losing the lights here. Not like it's Sun Life.
No. I hated that.
Here's Mark Ellis now.
More balls caught me at Sun Life than I caught him.
Did the lights at Sun Life change once football season starts? Did they redirect them at all?
Yeah, they did. They redirected them downward, which was always bad.
0-1 pitch up the middle. Solano fires to first in time. And Ellis is out. Now we'll get to see Cishek face the teeth of the Dodger order with Kemp and Ethier, and if anybody reaches, Hanley Ramirez. The ball off Victorino's bat is a double. So both teams have 11 hits. Kemp already with 5 hits in this series, 3 tonight, and has shown that the hamstring is just fine. He has stolen 2 bases. So he's ready for the stretch run. The Dodgers have 9 games left with the Giants. Swing and a miss. 6 of the 9 are at home at Dodger Stadium. In fact, the Marlins come in right behind the Giants on the 24th, a Friday night, for a 3-game weekend series. And we told you last night the Dodgers have some interesting opponents on the road in August. Following these 3 games, they go to Pittsburgh for 4, and then Atlanta for 3 in the middle of September. They're in Washington for 3 and Cincinnati for 3. Cishek missing outside.
That's not an easy road.
Now they
for
will
the
find
Dodgers.
out who they really are.
Two-one foul back. Two and 2. That Atlanta ball game is a final. The Braves beat the Mets 9-3, and the story in that one, as Cliff pointed out, Johan Santana coming off the disabled list, he lasted just an inning and a third, 8 hits, 8 runs, all earned.
Wow. And the Braves got a nice start from Chris Medlin.
Out to short. Reyes' throw to first is in time. The run crosses. Victorino will score. Kemp gets an RBI. Yeah, and that backing up the start that the Braves got from Paul Maholm, which had to make Frank Wren, Freddie Gonzalez, and the rest of the Braves feel pretty good.
Yeah. Medlin, I mean to cut you off, T. Hut, but Medlin's been a big addition for them when you lose Brandon Beachy. And you know, the fact that Tammy Hansen is hurt right now. So, you know, those guys have been able to step up. Ben Sheets, a guy that I saw, you know, before the All-Star break. And I looked at him in Double-A, and I thought, Ben Sheets 2 years later is making a comeback. Wow, it should be great if he gets back, and all of a sudden he's 4-1 and helping that team in crunch time.
Fastball is up, so the Braves have won. The Nationals are winning 6-4 in the bottom of the 6th against the Diamondbacks. That game is in Arizona. The Diamondbacks are a game over 500.
Yeah, the Nationals trying to make it 8 in a row.
Cishek trying to get Ethier, trying to end the night. 7-3, Miami on top. Strike at the knees, 3-1. Afternoon game tomorrow. Chris Capuano and Wade LeBlanc.
Oh, Capuano, huh? Wow.
Say the last run that Steve Cishek allowed was June 25th.
And of course, the run he allows is an earned run because that was a double by Victorino. But if Ruggiano doesn't lose it in the lights, the high five line is already passed. And Craig and Niner are talking at this point.
Yeah, he had 12 appearances in July, no runs. 4 previous appearances here in August, not allowing a run.
He's battled back to 3-2, and he strikes him out with a fastball. Ethier goes down. So Steve Cishek finishes in what was a total team effort on the mound and at the plate for the Miami Marlins. And they beat the Dodgers, costing the Dodgers a game in the standings. They now sit a game back of San Francisco in the West. That on a night where the Marlins lost a starter right before the game started. Greg Dobbs was scratched. So a big night for Ozzie Guillen and the Fish. We'll talk more about it when we return.